Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another magazine reading video. Now, as you can tell, it has been a while since my last magazine reading video. I forgot when it last was, honestly, but you know, a lot has changed. I don't know what's going on, but you know, a lot has changed. A lot has happened. So first off, I'm proud to say that I have got more anime magazines and other stuff. So you look at this big ass pile. Hold on, this big ass pile of magazines here. We got all of them. We got some of them. This is actually new. I've actually picked up some of their newer magazines since then. But whatever. Some more. Yeah. 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 Some more like 2005. This is a new one too. This is like 2018. I picked up some Taku USA when I can. Like I said. So we're basically loaded for probably a while. Some we've already read. We got Death Note. A lot. You get the gist. There's also some gaming magazines too. This is from 2003. There's a lot of good shit here. And here's a 2007 one. Yeah, you get the gist. We're basically loaded for probably a while. This is probably like the most mind-blowing thing ever, but in my Mecha Press video, believe it or not, one of the writers of the magazine way back in the day actually commented on my video. I believe his name is Martin Welle. I don't know. I'm sorry if I pronounced it. I pronounced it wrong, but that was just crazy that somebody who worked on a magazine that long ago saw that video and he basically commented, and I felt kind of bad. Sorry if I offended you, Martin, if you were watching this. It made me realize I gotta be more careful. I gotta, kind of take it seriously. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what. Anyways, today we're going to be reading Protoculture Addict number 56. This is from, I believe, 1999, I think. See here in the back. Yeah, it says, I guess there's a lot of stuff in 1999, yeah. So, yeah, you can see the girl from Lodoss War. I haven't watched Lodoss War, but I hear great things about it. I don't know her name. We got Record of Lodoss War. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That's going to be very interesting. Magic Knight Rayearth. I love Magic Knight Rayearth. Neoranga, Steam Detectives, and News and Reviews. So yeah, this is going to be a very cool manga, magazine to read. I'm very interested to see what they will say about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Because, now, after the anime came out in 2012, obviously JoJo is like one of the biggest anime out there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what people had to say about this manga when it was still relatively obscure in the West. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So over here, we have a ad, I would assume, for Knights of Ramu. Ramoon? Yeah, Knights of Ramoon probably, sorry. Knights of Ramu, hey. Help wanted, one galactic hero needed, Knights of Ramoon. From the writers of the best-selling series Slayers, Cao Cao and Parfait never wanted to be heroes. They were sent to find the legendary fourth warrior, Ramoons, for only he can save the galaxy from impending doom. Unfortunately, they discover Ramoons at the helm of the marauding invasion fleet. Now Cacao, I would assume, must save the galaxy from its greatest champion. Blast Off. We got the volumes. Blast Off. True Destination and Endless Legend. 3 volumes beginning in June. To order, call Manga Mania Club America at 1-800-626-4277, or you can visit these websites: Central Park Media, Software Sculptors, ADL, or you can go check their AOL account at Japanimation Station, keyword Japanimation. And it is $25 dubbed and $30 subbed. I still wonder why it's cheaper to get dubbed. You'd expect it to be the other way, since I would assume it's more expensive to dub an anime, but whatever. Alright, for the staff we got Claude J. Pelliner as the publisher and manager. Our boy Martin Ouellet, or as our editor-in-chief, that's the person who commented on the video. Miyako Matsuda as the editor / translator, and Sylvain Durand as the assistant editor. Contributors are Nicholas Barriat and Bonabu Bao, Aaron and Keith Diza alias, Kevin Lilliard, Derry Pascal, Isabel Derry Pascal, James S. Taylor, and Val. Oh, we got the Safe House for doing the layout. Ghislaine Barb did the cover. Proofreading, the Safe House, and Dominique Durocher. Color separation, and Linotronic, Typo Express printing from Payette and Sims Incorporated. Special thanks to Nicholas Bart, Jack Kim, Michael Liu, Francis, I'm not good at French, Francois Vezina, Yue Yawasua, and Nene Tamaki. Subscription, 1 year, 6 issues, $30 US, Canada, and Canada money at GST, or $46 overseas. Send check money ordered to Protoculture P.O. Box 133, Station B, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. That's just a bunch of stuff. I don't really want to read that. Let's check our table of contents. Presentation. Number 4. What's going on? Anime and manga news. Japan, North America. Video and manga products. Live action DVD releases. New releases. Model news. Reviews. Manga, various manga, live action, video games, PA picks, anime, spotlights, records of Lodoss War, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Magic Knight Rayearth. I love Rayearth. I already said that, but I fucking love Rayearth. I watched it because it was in the newest Super Robot. I watched it because it was in the newest Super Robot Wars, and it's pretty great. It's filled with soul, I would say. Anime World, Urban Vision, An Amazement Report, Anime Under Fire, Part 13, Anime Trivia, Part 2, The 70s, Student Detectives, and Neoranga. No longer science fiction? Here in Canada, all Canadian TV stations have been reporting about Julie Payette, a Quebecios astronaut from Montreal, and interest towards space itself is greater than it has been 20 years since Mr. Yoshiyuki Tomino first came out and created the first episode of Mobile Suit Gundam. In those days, we felt it was all fiction based on scientific aspects. Now, it doesn't really seem to be such a faraway future, and in fact, space is getting really closer to us, I think. According to an interview article of Mr. Takayasu Yoshioka, Vice President of the GEM project team of NSDA in Japan, Japan is working on an artificial gravity generator for the International Space Station that Japan is building with USA, Canada, Europe, and Russia. This station will be floating 400 kilometers above the Earth's surface. In fact, 2 modules of the station are already in position. Gundam was set in the space century, and it had the artificial gravity by centrifugal force. We all thought 20 years ago that it was fiction. Now Japan is making it. Little did I dream such a thing could come true in space. This is no longer science fiction. It's science reality. In the 19th century, could people ever dream of what we have today? like rockets, space station, planes, and computers and so? No. So I do not wish to say that life in space is impossible. But the next century would be quite different and also exciting to use space as a matter of fact. When science fiction writers talked about space colony, we thought space colony as we thought it was fiction, but may not be fiction any longer in the 21st century when people started using space commercially. I haven't heard that Hinton Hotel was thinking about building a hotel on the moon in the 21st century. And to this day, I still remember clearly when I interviewed director Hideki Anno Evangelion at Anime Expo several years ago. Mr. Anno, if you had time and money, where would you go? Where would you like to travel, sir? I expected the answer, well, somewhere on Earth, like, say, the USA, China, South America, or Africa. But his answer was, of course, space. The universe is unlimited. I'd love to jump in the space shuttle and travel all over the universe. Well, I do hope his wish would come true during our lifetime. And yes, if or when space becomes quote-unquote profitable, people will go into space more and more for sure and even live there. By the way, we would like to hear from our readers more often to let us know what anime and manga works you like, how you feel, your favorite heroes and heroines, your favorite model kits, games, etc. Please keep in touch with us. It'll help us cover the stuff you want, and we are always doing our best to offer you some information from Miyako Matsuda. It's a little hard. This summer issue is like only 60 pages, but no less full of interesting content. It offers you 3 spotlights and 2 anime stories. The first spotlight, 8 pages overview, character files, and synopsis, covers the TV series of Record of Lodoss War that UMSC will start releasing in August. The second spotlight presents a little-known, strange, but quite interesting OVA series, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Despite the fact that it's unlikely that it will ever be released, it is a series that is worth knowing. Little did they know. The last spotlight, 6 pages, covers the second season of Magic Knight Rayearth. The first season was presented in PA 44 and Media Busters will start releasing it in September. Manga Entertainment will also release the Rayearth OVA in fall. In this issue, our anime stories are introducing you to 2 anime titles, Neo Ranga, which was shown in Japanese TV as part of Anime Complex, and Steam Detectives, based on Kiya Asayama's manga. This issue is also presenting 2 companies. The anime releaser Urban Vision, with a short corporate history and a list of their release titles, and its video game releaser Himaya Soft, with a review of 5 of their games. Finally, this issue offers a report on the Animazement Convention Anime Under Fire Part 13, Anime Trivia Part 2, and our usual reviews, manga live action, movies, and news. Enjoy! AD Police is one of TV Tokyo's new series, playing at 1:45 a.m., and 239 Neo Tokyo AD Police take care of a humanoid cyclone called Buma. That's coincidentally the bad guys in Bubblegum Crisis. I don't know. The series here is 23-year-old Kenji Sasaki, who prefers to be alone and depends only on himself. But Kenji has a German partner, Hans Kreif, and the story is about friendship and young men's drama. Kenji also has a girlfriend, Kyoko, but doesn't like to talk about her with friends. Director Hidehito Ueda, character design Naoyuki Kana, mecha designer Natsuki Mamiya and AICAD, police production committees. I'm reading this from kind of a distance, so bear with me. Japanese cartoonist and anime creator Hisashi Eguichi Sapi Barry-kun, character designs for Rajan Z, and did movie poster illustrations for a French movie, Un Amour de Sorcerer, French version of Bewitched, starring Vanessa Paradis and John Reno. George Lucas's ILM helped make the special effects, along with the international superstar magician David Copperfield. The movie was released in May. It's a story about a witch Morgan who can make babies by magic. Studio Ghibli's director Asahara Takahata has written and published a new essay book, 12th Century Animation. In this book, Mr. Takahata is analyzing the roots of Japanese animation from Chogagia, literally humorous pictures, drawings of anime of birds and animals, which is a series of 4 monochrome scrolls painted with Russian ink around 12th century Japan. In the scroll, we can see frogs, rabbits, monkeys, In this scroll, we can see frogs, rabbits, monkeys, foxes, and they are all doing human activities. When we look at all the pictures carefully, they look like the American style of animal animation, maybe even an earlier version of Bugs Bunny of the 20th century. These scrolls would be the origin of Japanese anime and manga. Hopefully, this book will eventually be translated into English from Takami Shoten. $36, 3,600 yen. Marco, 300 Miles to Look for Mother. Released as a theatrical movie in Japan through Shochiku Company, its theme song was sung by Scottish diva Sheena Easton, who sings many hit songs like James Bond movie series themes. Mr. Easton was invited to sing Marco for the celebration party and charity preview in March in Tokyo, along with Japanese singers like Rumi Sakahara, Megumi Matsushita from AX, blah blah blah. Rurouni Kenshin OVA Part 2 was released in April 1999. Just like the Star Wars prequel, it is a trend to write stories about what has happened in the past. Part 1 story is about why Kenshin became Banosai the Killer. I like how they compare it with Star Wars. That's a very interesting comparison. Part 1 story is about how and why Kenshin became Banosai the Killer. Part 2 is about his wife Tomoe. Killing was making Kenshin crazy and putting him on the edge psychologically. As his heart is getting closer, she becomes to his beloved. Tomoe gives him the will to live. Yeah. The bestseller game Tokimeki Memorial. I believe that got translated recently, like fully translated. I could be wrong, but I believe it did, or at least one of the Tokimeki. Anyways, Tokimeki Memorial has been animated to an OVA series. The series is about a high school girl, Shiori Fujisaki. She doesn't know how and what it is to be in love. There are only 5 months left until the graduation. One phone call has changed her life. This OVA series was produced by Studio Pierrot, Kimagure, Orange Road, New Type 99. TV Tokyo started showing old anime shows. TV Tokyo has answered the request from fans of old anime shows from the 1970s. Every morning from 5:25 to 5:55 a.m., fans can watch these shows they grew up with. Mondays, Time Bokan. Tuesdays, Yatamen. Wednesdays, Science Ninja Core Gatchamen. Thursdays, Honeybee Maya the Honeybee Maya's Adventure. Fridays, Kinnikuman. New fans discover the origins of anime. I think those are all by Tatsunoko. I could be wrong. Japanese satellite Wow 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 has announced an agreement with DreamWorks. From now on, Wow 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 will be showing American anime and other shows created by DreamWorks. The first DreamWorks title to show in Japan in May was Invasion America. DreamWorks is set to be releasing the eighth Hollywood studio in importance. The Prince of Egypt was shown in Japan in June. North America, upcoming releases. ADVision announced the acquisition of Burn Up Access TV, Lost Universe, and the release of several DVDs: Battle Angel, Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo, Cutie Honey, Evangelion, Queen Esmeralda, Ruin Explorers, Sonic the Hedgehog movie, among others. And Amigo has shipped the pre-ordered second best boxed set of Core. I'm not sure what Core is. I think that's abbreviated for something. Forgive me. I'm not really sure what Core is, but I'll probably figure out later. And announced the release of the first Core video, KOR. Their live-action label, Sanome Simura Bandai, announced their new schedule with the release of Silent Mobius Waltz. With the release of Silent Mobius in September, 2 new Gundam titles, 8th MS Team OVAs and Gundam Wing TV series and Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, and the release of 2 titles on DVD. Central Park Media announced a new live-action label, Asian Pole Media, which will offer 5 titles in 1999. Weather Woman, Legend of the Devil, Baptism of Blood, Close Your Eyes, and Hold Me, Scorpion's Revenge. Hold Me, Scorpion's Revenge. And over 14 in 2000, Image announced Image announced a Megazone Part 1 for DVD in August. Manga Entertainment released a new schedule for Hanamichi DVD, The Castle Cagliostro, and the Ray Earth OVAs. In February 2000, Media Blasters will start the Ray Earth TV series in September. Miramax has pushed back the release of Princess Mononoke to October. Pioneer announced Catnapped and The Dog of Flanders for July, Nazca for August, and Trigun for September. What a cool anime. Disney lose a lawsuit. Walt Disney Co. will have to pay $9.3 million to Marzu, the owner of the rights for the comic book character Marsupilami, for failing to promote adequacy and merchandise the character for the character. Failing to promote adequately and merchandise the character. I think there's like a typo there. Their contract required Disney to produce 13 animated short features, give them network exposure, and launch a merchandising campaign. Instead, Disney has promoted its own titles. That's an interesting precedent. Hopefully, Disney will not stall the release of Miyazaki and Ghibli titles, but if they eventually do, Takuma could successfully sue them. The Toronto Japanese Canadian Cultural Centre, JCCC, opened its new location, 6 Garamond Court, Don Mills, Ontario, Canada, MP3C, on May 15th. The center's objective is to preserve and live in Japanese heritage for new generations and allow other Canadians to discover Japanese culture. It offers programs in the arts, sumi, ikebana, martial arts, kendo, aikido, judo, karate, and languages. The center also has a library and a gallery, offers facility rentals for meetings, and is open to everyone. Fantasia. The International Fantastique Cinema Festival will be held on the 4th year in Montreal. From July 23rd to August 15th, the screenings will be done again at the Imperial Theatre, but also at the ultra-modern movie company Excentris on St. Laurent Boulevard. The movie selection will include, among others, Gamera 3, Giant Robo OVAs, I fucking love Gamera, Giant Robo OVAs, Grandizer, Jinro, Princess Mononoke, Spriggan, Tenchi Muyo and Love, Ultraman X, and a lot of Hong Kong live action and a couple of Korean movies. A must. Fresh Pulp. The book is compiling the best non-fiction writing in columns for the first year of Viz's revolutionary adult manga magazine, Pulp Manga for Grown-Ups. It also includes artistic information and samples from Pulp's manga titles. Catches books written by Patrick Macias, Hioni Narita, Yuji Oniki, Chikao Tori, Jason Thompson, others. Top 10 Asahi Anime Rating. Corrector Yue, Gokudoi-kun, Aesop's Fabled Worlds, Power Stone, Eden's Boy, Monster Farm, Tenshi Nanaruman, Kakain Phrase, and Ton A Gundam. And Soriyuki Uchi Sankan Yamamoto Yoko. From Aishi Newspaper, April 30th, 1999, section page 2. Ratings are in representative viewers. Based on ratings research of Kanto District, Turn A Gundam was shown at a rerun at midnight. It still brought a 1.18 rating. It means like we got a lot of releases here. Video releases. DNA Sites 1999.9, Blue Submarine number 6, Don't Leave Me Daisy, Gundam 83, Haunted Junction, Outlaw Star, Blackjack the Movie, Fist and North Star Volume 4, Fushigi Yugi Volume 7, Goodbye Tamahome, Irresponsible Captain Tylor, Video Girl I, Volume 2, Present, Maison Ikoku, All Swells That Ends, Rama 1.5 OC, Headmaster from Hell, Rama 1.5 12, Eat Drink, Man Who Turns, Blue Submarine, Don't Leave Me Daisy, Eat Man, Haunted Junction, Outlaw Star, Monkey Magic, Lady Blue, Galaxy, Frelian Yuna Returns, Princess Rogue, The Legend of the Last Labyrinth, Magical Project 8, Volume 7. Serial Experiments Lane. Ooh, interesting. I wonder how popular Lane was back in the day. I'm not sure, but Lane is... You know all about Lane now. Tenchi in Tokyo. Slayer's Next, The Unexpected End. Slayer's Next, Collector's Boxed. Battle Skipper, Hyperspeed, Tales of Misbehavior, Eat Man, Gundam 83, Pokemon, Dirty Pair, Queen Emeralds, Cream Emeralds, Those Who Hunt Elves, Urusei Yatsura, Battle Athletes Victory, number 6, Willpower, Fushigi Yugi, Kimba, Terrible Power, Irresponsible Captain Tylor, Wild 7, I would assume, Frantic Frustrated, something, Miniature Troy, Nazca, Tenchi in Tokyo, Tenchi Forever, The Cockpit, Video Girl Eye, Midnight Painter, City Hunter, Compiler, Sorcerer Hunters, Dragon Ball Z, El Hazard, Sailor Moon, Slayers, Lodos War, Bubblegum Crisis, Ninja and Resurrection, Dirty Pair, a lot of shit is coming out. More Lane, Fist and North Star, Monkey Magic, Trigun, Sonic the Hedgehog, Lady Blue, Slayers. It's just, and rare. It's just interesting to see a Lane show up here, considering, I'm not sure how popular Lane was in America when it first came out, but we have it here. Future releases: Saber Marionette J again, OVA, Saber Marionette R, Catnapped, Dog of Flanders, Cowboy Bebop. I wonder if that was the first one. Virus, Eat Man 98, Perfect Blue, Virus OVA, Chinese Ghost Story, Power Dolls, AWOL. Oh shit, Guys, God Bless the Ring, hell yeah. Did they make an OVA of Guys? They better. Ghost Sweeper, Silent Mobius, Sailor Victory, City Hunter Bay City Wars, Lady Ninja, Princess Mononoke, Sakurai Wars, Sorcerer Hunters, Variable Geo, Lady Ninja, Castle in the Sky, Jungle Emperor, Magic Knight Rayearth, Brain Powered, Garzo Wings, Vampire Hunter D, AD Police, Burn Up Excess, Astro Boy TV, Alicia, Flare Next, just Nadesico, Nadia, Secret of the Blue Water, Princess Nine, Nine, and a lot of cool stuff. Alright, here we have the manga selection. Black and White, Volume 2. Intruders disrupt Black's dominance over, quote-unquote, his city. First, the pair, called Dawn and Dusk, who bear resemblance to our heroes, and then a group of foreign criminals who bring new ways and new faces. Frustrating old school Yakuza Suzuki, but giving young Kimura a chance for upward mobility. Urban renewal is afoot in Treasure Town, and Black and White are wrenches thrown in the machine, and according to the urban planners, they must be eliminated. Viz Comics, written and drawn by Taiyo Matsuno. Black and White, 208 pages, $15, or $24 in Canada. Available in October. Lodos War, The Grey Witch, Book 1, collected issues 1 through 7. The other popular cast is all here. Parn, the strong-headed fighter, Dedelt, the young and not haughty elf, Gim, the grizzled dwarf, Ito, the young priest, Slain, the sorcerer, and Woodcheck, the thief. The six must again unite as an evil grey witch permeates all of Lodos Island. All ages manga, CPM, story and Mizuno, and the art by Yoshiki Yoichi. Midnight Panther, Book 4, Feudal Fantasy, the fourth and last Midnight Panther graphic novel collecting issues 1 through 5 of the original Feudal Fantasy manga. In this fourth collection, we find the Pussycats embroiled in a conspiracy in old Edo, Japan. These kimono-clad beauties waste no time getting themselves involved in hot water when Sonia becomes involved in a mysterious murder. The other pussycats quickly rush to her defense, Panther style. However, they quickly learn that things are not what they seem, and they have to use their well-endowed tributes to get to the bottom of things. CPM manga, real story by Yu Asagiri, 150 pages, $16, and available on August 25th, 1999. Also suggested for mature readers. Urotsuki Doji, Return of the Chojin. Picking up where the last Legend of the Overfiend left off, the Chojin has now awakened in the body of 19-year-old Tatsuo Nagumo. As the new school year begins, the students at Meijin College are in for all kinds of strange new happenings. The arrival of a mysterious new teacher does not bode well for the already suspicious student body, as his connection to the underworld are slowly revealed. Warning! CPM manga. X titles are absolutely not for readers under 18 years of age. Contains graphic violence and sexual situations. Reader discretion advised. CPM manga X, story and art by series creator Toshio Maeda. Video Girl I, Volume 1, Jinan. The high school student Yoda Moriichi has a nickname among his classless, dateless. That doesn't stop him from falling in love with his gentle classmate Moemi, but his heart is broken when she tells him that she loves Yoda's best friend, the immensely popular Takashi. Crushed, Yoda enters a mysterious video shop, Gokuraku, where he vents a video starring a cute young idol named Ai Amano. But when he plays the video, Ai emerges from the TV and lands in Yoda's bed. A real-life video girl dedicated to improving his love life whenever he likes it or not. Can she turn Yoda into a babe magnet? Will Yoda convince her love to Moemi? Will Moemi confess her love to Katashi? And does Ai herself love somebody? They better find the answer soon, because Ai's due back at the video store in 3 months. Collect the stories from Animerica Extra through Volume 2. Viz Comics, written and drawn by Matsukazu Katsura. Black and white, $15, available in October. 2 things. Maybe it's the boomer in me, I would imagine, but I don't know. These slice of life rom-com animes, I don't know. Back then, they definitely seemed more interesting than, whatever we have today. The lonely bait, the meme that goes lonely bait for bitches who get no bitches and stack no paper. I don't know. This is kind of interesting, but the rest, now it just seems kind of generic. Like, oh, look. Also, I did try to pick up an America volume. I saw it at an antique store, and I wanted to buy it, but I didn't really want to. I was like, damn, another anime magazine? But no, I wasn't really interested in reading it. You know what I mean? So, here are the manga releases for July. There is a lot. For July, we have Animerica Extra Volume 2, Animerica Volume 7, Blade of the Immortal. I think... Isn't that like a video game for the PlayStation? Blade of the Immortal? PlayStation 1? I could be wrong. Call Me Princess, Tomoko Tamaguchi, Chibi Pop Manga, Shirality, Dark Angel, Demon Beast, Dragon Ball Z, Femme Kabuki, Futaba-kun Change, Geobreeders, Gundam Blue Destiny, Gunsmith Cats, Bean Bandit, Hyperdolls, Inuyasha, Lodos War, Mason Ikoku, Manga Max, Nadisiko, Midnight Panther Special, Mobile Suit Gundam, Evangelion, New Vampire Mio, No Need for Tenchi, Oh My Goddess, Pokemon, Pulp, Ranma 1.5, Sailor Moon, Shadow Lady, Silky Whip, Silent Mobius, Return of the Jedi manga, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and in August, we have Animerica Extra, Volume 2, Black and White, Blade of the Immortal, Call Me Princess, Dark Angel, more Dragon Ball, Frontier Line, Fushigi Yuki, heard of that one? Geobreeders, Love Touch, Manga Max, Manga File. Anything with file at the end of it, I just get really bad vibes. Even if it is not very, bad. And if you call yourself a cinemaphile, audiophile, it just doesn't sound right. I'm sorry. Anyways, More Gundam. Yeah, it's pretty much the same stuff. Cool. Some products to look out for. Big Robots, Cool Starship RPG Sourcebook, 600, $16. Cowboy Bebop Complete Type Film Book, $13, $14. Demon City Shinjuku RPG and Resource Book, $20. Dominion Tank Police RPG, Guardian's Order, Erotic Anime Guide, $17. Galaxy Fralian Yuna Official Complete Data Book, was actually pretty cheap, I would assume. Only, oh wait, sorry, I forgot the two. Ooh, yeah, that is $52. Ooh, I was like, damn, that's pretty cheap. Then I see it, and it's $52. Wow. Hot Rods and Gun Bunny Supplement RPG. How to draw adult anime. How to draw anime the easy way. How to draw anime for dummies. How to draw shoujos. We all know about those. Those are probably the ebooks. You know what I mean. The How to Draw. The classics. Mobile Suit Gundam 2 anime comic. Sailor Moon novel 2 with Mercury Rising. Brazing. Sorceress Stabber Orphan anime Cole. Super Robot Generation Sunrise 77 through 87. The CD-ROM. CD and CD-ROM, Anime Encyclopedia, Volume 3, Fantasy and Horror, Mac PC. Apollo Smile, Love and Kisses, and Grenade CD. Bubblegum Crisis OST, Fatal Relations CD-ROM, Immortal Study Scenario, Pat Labor the Movie 1999 OST, Pocket Monsters Best Collection, Runaway City, Sailor Moon Luna Rock, Serial Experiments Lane Soundtrack CD, Serial Experiments Lane Siberia Mix. Slayer's gorgeous. I'm not sure if this is part of it, but I'm not sure if that's just the CD soundtrack releases, but I think the Lane has some very interesting merchandise, I heard. Like there's a video game for the PlayStation. It's all very experimental, like the show. I'm not very sure. I haven't actually watched the anime. Anyways, manga, Canon God, I don't know why. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I don't know why it's two separate for the past page and this one. I'm not really sure. Somebody, manga, Canon God Exaction, Card Captor Sakura, Kawa, Cowboy Bebop, Devilman Lady, Fushigi Yugi, Gon the Little Fox, Martian Successor Nadesico, Mazinger USA version, Mazinger Z, whatever. Mobile Suit Gundam, Char Counterattack number 1, Moriyukiden, Akira Tamayamo, Mysterious Boy Pocketbook Digest Edition, Mysterious Ceres, New Kendachi Files book number 3, Onimari Taisho, Record of Lodoss War, Chronicles of Heroic Knight, Rurouni Kenshin, Shoujo Kakume Utena. Oh, that's probably Revolutionary Princess. Steam Detectives Ring Special, Super Robot Tizen F comic PS for PlayStation version. Models and figurines, Astro Boy Miracle action figure, refig, Ghost in the Shell Cybernetic fig, and Space Cobra, and Varia. This is the stuff we'll be able to find in the catalog, I would imagine. And Varia, anything you want, Pocket Monsters, and Magic Knight Rare trading card box. The top 30 bestseller. Let's see here. Ninja Resurrection at number 1. Number 2, Slayers, the series. 3, Pokemon. 4, Dragon Ball Z. 5, Records of Lodoss War. 6, Neon Genesis Evangelion. 7, Slayers. 8, Ninja Scroll. 9, Tekken the Movie. 10, The Heroic Legend of Arslan. 11, Wrath of the Ninja, Yoden the Movie. Devil Hunter Yoko. 13, Vision of Escanflowne. 14, Gundam. Well, I don't know which one. Probably the original series. Legend of the Crystania. Number 15. 16, Ghost in the Shell. 17, Sorcerer Hunters. 18, Ninja Cadets. 19, Fire Emblem. A classic OVA. Number 20, Fushigi Yugi. 21, Cruel Devices box set. Number 22, Nightmare Campus. LA, Blue Girl. Number 24, Lady Blue. 25, Bondage Queen Kate. 16, Ray Ray. 27, Beast City. 28, Yorotsuki Doji. 29, Tales of Titillation, whatever. And 30, Erotic Torture Chamber. I don't know what this. Moon Over Tao Makaraga, Tetsuo 2, Tokyo Fist. These are probably just live action movies, I would imagine. Orochi, the 8-Headed Dragon. Rikyo, the Story of Riki. Weather Woman, Sleepy Eyes of Death, Sword of Satan. Tokyo Blue, Case 1, Legend of the Devil. Baptism of Blood. Fudo, The New Generation. Close Your Eyes and Hold Me, Scorpion's Revenge, and Dragon Blue. Barefoot Gen, Battle Athletes Victory Volume 2, Doubt and Conflict. Dragon Ball Z, Snake Away 3, The Saiyans. Pokemon, Friendships, and Thundershock. Tenchi Muyo OVA Box Set. Battle Athletes Victory Volume 3, Tragedy and Triumph. Dragon Ball Z, The Pendulum Rooms. Doom, Legend of Crystania, the motion picture. Slayers, the motion picture. Tenchi in Tokyo, number 4, New Enemies. Yotoden, Wrath of the Ninja. Monkey Magic. Serial Experiments Lane, once again. Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon. Rev Girl Utena. Monkey Magic, again. Nazca, Tenchi Forever. Megazone 23 Part 1, Battle Athletes Victory. Dragon Ball Z, M9, El Hazard, The Alternative World. Urotsuki Doji, Legend of the Overfiend. Lane Again. Blackjack the Movie, Macross Plus. Wings of Hanamase. El Hazard, Sonic the Hedgehog. And Castle Cagliostro. Jack Kim of Anime Canada would like to thank the following people for the support to Canadian fans and their assistant Anime North 1999. Craig O'Connor of AD Vision. Jerry Chu of Anime Village, Bandai. Glenn Mondry of Central Park Media. Kevin Chu of Pioneer. Steve Nagata of G&G Electronics. And Kwan Hotse, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that, of Kwan Films. This is a paid advertisement. Some new releases. A lot, I would assume. Blue Submarine, number 6, Volume 1. AnimeVillage.com, sub 30 minutes, $20, available on June 25th, 1999. In the near future, the oceans have risen, causing all land at sea level to be flooded with the expansion of the oceans. Humanity has found a new enemy in Zorndike. The war erupted between the surface dwellers and the sea dwellers, and mankind is placing all of its hope in the new vessel, Blue Submarine number 6 and her crew, featuring the latest in 3D computer animation, composited with the beauty of traditional 2D character art, Volume 2, available on July 12th, 1999. Dirty Pair, Original Volume 3, AD Vision, dubbed, subtitled, $20 or $30 if you are Canadian. Available on September 14th, 1999. I've heard about Dirty Pair is like a classic. It's the classic OVA of the 80s, I would imagine. What do you do when your top... God doesn't play dice, but the Dirty Pair do. What do you do when your top trouble consultant is lost to the dark side of the hottest casino ever? You send in your loveliest angels, of course. But is it really wise to give the most destructive duo access the power of a planet-busting asteroid railgun? Then when will it be Wedded Bliss or Jailhouse Blues?
Nothing scares the godfather of the largest criminal family on the planet. Nothing, that is, except his son marrying one of the infamous dirty pair. Can Kay save Yuri from the life of illicity, one fame or fortune? Or will the family take the angels and the rest of 3WA as well? On a one-way ride, it all happens in the third destructive volume of the original Dirty Pair. Don't leave me alone, Daisy. AnimeVillage.com, sub 48 minutes, $25 and available on June 25th of 1999. Nerdy genius Techno lives alone in his underground complex, since his grandfather has told him the outside world was dangerous, and he's happy, until he sees the love of his life on a security monitor. Classmate Hitomi becomes the object of his affection and obsession, and uses everything and anything to try to win the heart of his beloved Daisy. There's just one problem. She doesn't want anything to do with him. Can science help Techno win Daisy's love? He's going to need all the help he can get. Volume 2, June 12th, 1999. New volume 3 through 6, released monthly. AV titles will also be available in the description through Pioneer on later dates. August 10th, 1999. Haunted Junction, AnimeVillage.com. 25 available on June 10th, 1999. Or Volume 4 will be available on June 25th, 1999. And Volume 5 will be available on July 12th, 1999. In September, Volume 6 will be available in September. Haruto, Kazuo, and Matsuki are students at Saito High, but they're also members of the school's Saint Club. Armed with the school spirits, they're out to defend the school and the surrounding areas from spirits ranging from evil to misguided to just plain clueless. Unfortunately, things never go exactly as planned dealing with occult forces, and the results are awesomely, explosively funny. AV titles will also be available in distribution through Pioneer on later dates. Kimagure Orange Road, TV volume, Anime Ego, subtitle 100 minutes, $35, available on August 24th, 1999. High school student Kazuha Kyosuke has a problem with women. Big time! First he thinks he's fallen in love with the beautiful and somewhat mysterious Aokawa Madoka, but he's not all sure if Madoka feels the same way about him. Second, he's being pursued by the exceedingly sweet and cute bubbly Hiyama Hikaru, who has taken the calling on darling, and asking if she'll make a good wife. Two girls are total opposites, and best friends since childhood, which means that Kyosuke's life is somewhat complicated. But wait, Kyosuke's women troubles are far from over. He's got two bratty sissies to worry about, and his sex life is somewhat crazy. But wait, Kyosuke's women are far from over. Wait. And his two sex-crazed buddies are stalking them, and one of the toughest guys in Karate Club, who is rather annoyed about him stealing, Hikaru, is stalking him. Now, Kyosuke does have one thing going for him. Both he and his sisters have inherited the family gift: paranormal powers, teleportation, telekinesis, precognition. They can do it all. Unfortunately, if anyone catches them using their powers, they'll have to leave town, and it turns out that Kyosuke's powers are much better at getting them in trouble than out of it. All this means that life is rarely boring and always hilarious. On Kimagure Orange Road contains episode 1 through 4. See what I mean? This is a way more interesting premise for like a slice of life, I'm assuming, than whatever we have nowadays. Knights of Remune, True Destination. From the writers of Slayers, Kakao allows herself to be captured in the hopes of discovering the warrior's real intentions, and she doesn't like what she hears. The power-mad warrior intends to awaken the titanic Mythic Knight and save the galaxy from extinction. But first, he plans to unite the galaxy under his will, but Parfait, Lemon, and PQ are close behind, and not even a squadron of heavily armed mecha are going to stand in the way, even if they have to use PQ as bait again. I think this is in Super Robot Wars. I could be wrong, but it's definitely in one of those. I feel like it is. Lady Blue Volume 2. Dub 60 minutes, $30, available on September 14th, 1999. A standalone sequel to the highly successful La Blue Girl series, now available in English. Things are not looking good for 19-year-old ninja Miko Mito. The man of her dreams has been possessed by the malevolent spirit of Prince Kyoshiro, and the cursed lovers have descended into the overworld to take revenge on King and Queen of the demonic Shima. Miko's mother and father, to save her parents and her would-be take revenge. Got to discover the truth between Kyoshira's murder, so Miko's going where she's never gone before. 400 years into the distant past. If Miko should fail, her parents will suffer an eternity of sexual torture. But if she wins, her first love may die. Warning, anime 18 titles are absolutely not for viewers under 18 of age. Contains graphic violence and sexual situations. Your discretion advised. All characters depicted in sexual conduct or in the nude are aged 19 years or older. No actual or identifiable minor was used in the creation of any character depicted herein. And Magic Knight Ray Earth, Volumes 1 through 2, Anime Works, 100 minutes, it's $30, available on September 21st, 1990. It begins when 3 junior high school girls hear a voice asking them to save the world called Sephiroth. The voice belongs to Princess Amarade, the pillar who maintains the peace of this magical world where belief is power. But the peace in Sephiroth is threatened as Prince Amarade is imprisoned, and monsters begin to invade the land. With her last bit of strength, the princess summons forth 3 girls destined to become magic knights, in hopes of saving her world, based on the manga by the all-woman studio Clamp, translated and serialized in English by Mixing, now Tokyo Pop. During the next 6 months, Media Blast will release all 20 episodes of the first season of MKR on 5 video cassettes. Video Volume 1 contains episode 1 through 4, Volume 2 contains 5 through 8, but both volumes are available in a combo pack, and Volume 5 will be available in February 2000. Metal Angel Marie, dubbed 19 minutes, available on September 14th, 1999. Have you met the perfect girl? Does she have the perfect boyfriend? Feel like you can't compete? Why not build your own? When an amateur mad scientist attempts to build a robotic duplicate of his dream girl, Marie is the result. Of course, there are usual unexpected complications. He built her so well that Marie has a mind of her own, and a whole host of questions to go with it. The same questions that each of us ask of life. Where did I come from? Why am I here? Why do I look just like that girl over there? Well, perhaps we don't have to worry about that. Or Marie does. New English dub, also available in Japanese and English titles as My Dear Marie. Outlaw Star, Volume 1. Sub 48 minutes, $25, available on June 25th, 1999. Other volumes 2 through 13, released on a monthly basis. Gene Starwind and his sidekick Jim Hawking run a repair shop on Sentinel 3. But their life changes forever when the pirate Hilda comes to them for help. Suddenly, Gene finds himself soaring through space. Not good when you have a space phobia, and involved in situations that does not fully understand. Why has Hilda kidnapped the android Melfina? What is her secret? And why is she so important? AV titles will also be available in the description through Pioneer on later dates. Pat Labor, The Mobile Police, the TV series. 120 minutes, $30, June 14th. At the Tokyo International Labor Show, the SV2 gets a sneak peek at the newest Pat Labor prototype, the economy version of the Ingram. Needless to say, they aren't thrilled. And when the show gets crashed by the powerful outlaw Labor, the Griffin will be the new low-cost Ingram to prove itself their job, or will prove to be totally worthless. Contains 5 episodes. Power Dolls 2. The rebellion may be over, but a new war has already begun. Thanks to the effort of the elite detachment of the Limited Line Service Task Force and the advanced combat robots, peace has finally been declared. I guess it's a typo. Be declared in the Terran War. However, a new civil war is brewing, and when a top secret power loader shows up in the enemy's hands, only the dolls stand a chance of saving the day. Led by Commander Yao, the dolls launch an immediate offense, but will it be too little too late? Or what is the secret from Yao's past that may hold the key to victory? The heavy metal action explodes in Power Dolls 2. Records of Lodoss War, Volume 2, Demon Sword. 1802, or 1808, that's just here. $19, $24 if you are Canadian. Available on September 14th. Ashran, the Black Knight of Marmo, has embarked upon a new quest to seize the scepter of domination from the Dragon's Guardian. With it, he will rule Lodos with an iron fist. Now 2 parties of heroes, led by Noble King and the Haunted Warrior, must race to the scepter, for the accursed island is plunged into darkness forever. There's a lot of lane on this cover. There's a lot of lane here, for some reason. A lot of lane in this volume. Available July 13th, 1999. We're all connected. There is a world around us, a world of people, tactical sensation and culture. There is a wide world inside the computer of images, personalities, virtual experience, and a culture all of its own. A day after a classmate commits suicide, Lane, a 13-year-old girl, discovers how closely the 2 worlds are linked when she receives an email from the dead girl. I just abandoned my body. I still live here. Has the line between the real world and the wired begun to blur? Layer 1. Weird. Lane receives email from a girl who committed suicide the other day. Girl, I just abandoned my body. I still live here. Layer 2. Club Cyberner. The space full of music, light, and people who search for their own pleasure, and the place where another Lane appears. Layer 3. Psych. Lane receives a mysterious circuit called Psych that improves the function of Navis. Layer 4. Religion. Lane is into remodeling her image after getting Psych outside of her room, the real world. Slayers. Next. The Secret of the Giga Slave. The kingdom of Fernal is famous for the homeland of great shrine meetings. Can the secret be a hidden copy of the Clare Bible? Lena asks just to find out. The only problem. The Fernal is an all-female kingdom. Any man found within the body borders will be executed. Just how long can Cory, Zelgadis, and Zelos maintain their disguises as women without being discovered? Sonic the Hedgehog the movie. Peak fiction. Also available on DVD. Ooh, a DVD of a release from Sonic. English, Japanese, Spanish subtitles. The brave blue hero is back. And this time, it's more than just fun and games. That's right. Sonic the Hedgehog is starring in his own motion picture, filled with all the fast-paced energy and action-packed excitement that Sonic is famous for. Dig this. Sonic's arch-nemesis, Dr. Robotnik, has been banished from the land of darkness by an evil metal Robotnik. And if that wasn't bad enough, the envious doctor tells Sonic that the robot generator has been sabotaged and will blow the planet free to Kingdom Come. But what could possibly make Sonic not trust his worst enemy? What could make him risk life and paw? Surely not the words of Dr. Robotnik. Not even the pleas of the president. It's not until the president's beautiful daughter, Sarah, turns on the charm that Sonic springs into action. But does Sarah really have eyes for Sonic? Or is she sweet on the new kid on the block? The never-before-seen Hyper Metal Sonic? Those Who Hunt Elves, Chapter 3, Magical Transformations. When the T-74 runs out of fuel, it appears the intrepid elf hunters will be forced to continue their quest afoot. But the spirit of a mischievous kitten that has been haunting a nearby village may just give a new meaning to the term cat-like tread. Then, when Celsia refuses to stop eating the denunding the elven maidens everywhere, her lieutenant resolves to unleash the most horrible spell of all time to destroy the intruders. If only she knew what the spell did, she might be able to stop those who hunt elves. But don't count on it. Video Girl I, Volume 3. I, Love and Sadness. When Yoda's VCR breaks down, I vanishes, leaving no trace of her in the real world except for the relationships of Moemi, Yoda, and Takashi. But all is not well, for the defective video girl has been reclaimed by her creator, the heartless and mysterious Rolex. To save her from reformatting, Yoda must enter the video world where illusions and dangers await him, and force him to make the sacrifice for the girl he loves. Climax of a 3-volume video based on the ever-popular manga, now running in Anime Extra. And here's some live action, it looks like it. Live action, Legend of the Devil. $30, subtitled, available on September 28th. Caught in a deadly political struggle between 2 noble families, a swordsman named Shirano Sakaki pledges to protect the innocent Princess Mayu and rescue the stolen treasures of 2 rivaling houses. But to succeed, he must battle the Hojo clan of female ninja. Moon over Tao. Moon Over Tao, Makaraga, Tokyo Shock, widescreen, $30, available on June 15th. From Kaita Amamiya, director of the hugely popular Zeiram film movies. The Master Rider features in the classical mechanical violator Hokkaido comes the highly octane Japanese sci-fi fantasy film chock full of high-quality special effects. An intense action set in the 16th century, Moon Over Tao, Makaraga is a tale of lawlessness and violence. When Japan was torn apart by brutal warlords and ravaged by constant warfare, three heroes must join forces to unravel the secret of a mysterious sword. Little do they know that its origin lie on another planet, but at every step of the way are Kakugo, an evil sorcerer who craves power and conquest, opposes them. Meanwhile, the original possessors of the sword, an alien race, are on their way to Earth to recover it before it's too late. When the alien monster, Makaraga, is unleashed, bloodshed and mayhem abound. Can our three courageous heroes stop the alien menace before the entire village is destroyed? Find out in this modern science fiction drama, starring the ever-popular Yuko Moriyama from Seiram, Hell Samurai Armageddon, and Tomoro Takaguchi, Tetsuo the Iron Man. Orochi, the Eight-Headed Dragon, a division, dubbed 90 minutes, $14.99, available on July 13th, 1999. Born under an evil sign, Takeru Yamado's own father orders him to be executed at birth, but the gods intervene and a hero is born. Japan's greatest legend is transformed into the wildest fantasy ever filmed in the land of the rising sun, as the creative team behind the original Godzilla take on an entirely different kind of lizard, Orochi, the Eight-Headed Dragon. At long last, the motion picture technology catches up with the grandeur of the epic myth as Toho Studio unleashes an unparalleled spectacle of swordplay and mass destruction, utilizing state-of-the-art special effects and stunning sets. Director Takai Ogahara, Godzilla vs. Mothra, Godzilla vs. Destroyer, breathes the awe-inspiring life into Takeru's legendary confrontations with the Black Sorcerers, fire demons, and monstrous Orochi. Rikyo, the story of Ricky. Available July 13th, 1999. Rikyo is about a young man and a mild-mannered man named Ricky, who takes revenge upon the drug-pushing thugs who killed his girlfriend. Sentenced to prison for the deed, Ricky struggles against the corrupt system that destroys the evil contained inside its walls. With over-the-top depiction of violence, it's definitely gut-busting funny. Expect to see split heads, exploding inmates, and flying eternal organs in the brutal intestinal strangulation. The prison is run by a host of evil characters, including a sadistic warden, his assistant, and the Gang of Four. The gang is a group of powerful figures who control the fellow inmates through terror and fear. Ricky fights and kills one of them in a brutal exchange where Ricky must control their fellow inmates through terror and fear. With terror and fear, Ricky fights back and kills one of them in a brutal exchange where Ricky must tie his severed tendons back together. After the gory death, the other three leaders show up and a bloody melee begins. As for the bloodiest movies to ever come out of Hong Kong, this video is not for the faint of heart, nor the weakest stomach. Rikyo's story is such an outrageous bloody prison that it borders the hysterical absurd. Watch as the vengeful Ricky bloodily disembowels, demolishes, and devastates and destroys his opponents from start to finish without mercy. Directed by Lam Nan-kai, Daughter of Darkness, Erotic Ghost, and starring Yukari Oshima, Million Express, and Midnight Angel. That sounds interesting. That might be worth a peep. I don't know. Sleepy Eyes of Death, Sword of Satan. Samurai Cinema, available August 24th, 1999. Get ready for the 6th installment of the Sleepy Eyes of Death live-action series. When the lord of an almighty clan fathers a child he cannot recognize, he will go to any lengths, even murder, to prevent the truth from becoming unknown. But when the lord dies without a legitimate heir, his retainers will go to any lengths to find the child that was thought to be dead. And when the faithful servant who saved the child appears to Koshiro for aid and kills herself when he refuses, the master of the full moon cut face might face a full moon face the might of an entire clan in order to regain his honor. Tokyo Blue, Case 1. I feel like I recognize this one. Tokyo Blue. September 28th. Mika and Rin don't have a damn thing in common, except they're dynamite to look at. For instance, Mika fires a huge magnum. Rin fires a smaller gun. Mika's looking for the perfect man. To Rin, perfect means breathing. But when the Japanese government learns that a former convict might flee the company with perfect counterfeiting films for US $100 bills, Mika and Rin get to the case. They may get off on the wrong foot, but the ladies don't pussyfoot around. Justice has never been this tempting. Lock yourself up with Tokyo Blue. Weather Woman, Asian Pulp Cinema, $30, available on August 24th, 1999. In the fast-paced, cutthroat world of television broadcasting, you have to be willing to show it all. And when the saucy-spirited Keiko Nakadai is hired to give the weather report, she creates a media frenzy when she flashes her underwear at the entire watching world. Soon everyone is tuning in to see what a favorite weather woman will do next. Interesting. Urban Vision Entertainment. I'm gonna read this from the start. Well, incoming releases: Wild 7, Urban Vision, $25. A crime-fighting squad comprised of ex-criminals, each with their own combat expertise. Their mission to eradicate crime by any means necessary. Commended by the mysterious Kusaba, the Wild 7 must combine their varied skills to become the deadliest arm of the law. Each member of the Wild 7 has an extensive felony record, allowing them to delve into the criminal minds of the outlaws they are assigned to eliminate. Their challenge is to bring down the huge Asian crime syndicate, whose far-reaching grasp has snared the high-powered members of the media and parliament. These criminals with badges must hold their own against a horde of underworld thugs in an all-out duel for the control of the city. In a society where crime and corruption run rampant, there is only one group you can turn to: Wild 7. 2-volume set group you can turn to. 2-volume written by Mikiya Mochizuki that retain the same characters. I think this is just novels, I would imagine. Japanese novels. Cockpit. Available, ? This is a tale told in 3 separate acts, each animated by a different animation master from the renowned Madhouse studio in Tokyo. Yoshiaki Kawajiri, Biohunter, Ninja Scroll, Wicked City, Takashi Imanishi, Gundam 83, and Ryusuke Takahashi, Armored Troop Votons, based on Leiji Matsumoto's manga. It is a harrowing story of 3 young soldiers during the World War II. Includes interviews with the 3 directors. Vision will also release Wicked City and Vampire Hunter D OVA. Same dubbed and streamlined, plus a subtitle version. They will start re-releasing DVDs at the end of the year. The new Vampire Hunter D will be completed later this year. A dubbed theatrical release is planned for next year, followed by a video release. For more information, www.urbanvision. Let's find out about Urban Vision. Urban Vision Entertainment Inc. is a production company based in Los Angeles, formed in July 1996 to introduce the alternative animation genre known as anime or Japan animation to mainstream media. The company primarily produces and acquires Japanese animation for direct-to-home video releases and distributes them to the world home video market. The company also has a broad-based licensing division which includes such endeavors as theatrical and television releases, interactive games, music, comic books, trading cards, and toys in the future. The climb to the anime breakthrough has been a slow but steady project. Early success with the series Battle of the Planets, predecessor to the Urban Vision title Gatchaman in the 70s, coupled with the Robotech television series in the mid-80s, sustained by the theatrical release of Akira, the resurgence of Speed Racer, and the current popular television series such as Sailor Moon, have American animation market craving more from the land of the rising sun. Oblique lines and mind-blowing action has placed anime years ahead of its animation counterparts worldwide. Today, its influence on American Urban Vision founder Mataichiro Yamamoto helped pioneer the anime genre in the U.S. with the computer-generated theatrical release, The Professional Go-Go 13, in 1983. Yamamoto began his career as a television producer for the Japanese primetime series Sword of Vengeance and Denjin Onibawa Ban and Kendagawa as a contracted producer for Toho Studios between 1974 and 1976. Yamamoto became an independent film producer in 1977, landing his first movie, Lady Oscar, in France with director Jacques Demy and composer Michel Legrand. Chosen in 1980 for an arts program between the Japanese Film Distribution Association and the 20th Century Fox Film Corporation to study American filmmaker. He began developing the feature film Mishima. I've watched them. I've watched Mishima, I believe. They're talking about the movie about Yukio Mishima, I believe. I think that's the one. Returning to Japan in 1983, Yamamoto produced Shoetsu Yoshida Gakko, a film about the former Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Yoshida. The hit television series The Raging Baseball and the professional Go-Go 13 in 1984, Yamamoto completed Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. Yeah, there we go. Jointly produced with Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas, the film received the Special Award for Artistic Achievement at Cannes. His last accomplishment in 1992, Win starred Matthew Modellini, Vision Quest, Cutthroat, and Flatliners, Jennifer Grey, and it was directed by Carol Ballard. Today, Yamamoto champions Japanese film and continues to strive to bring Japanese programming to the world marketplace. Urban Vision worked closely with the world-renowned Madhouse Animation in Tokyo, Japan, Wicked City, Ninja Scroll, Man by 100D. The company's initial release, in conjunction with Madhouse, was Biohunter, released on home video in 1997. Excerpts from Space Adventure Cobra were featured in Matthew Sweet's music video for The Single Girlfriend. The video in its entirety has been added to the end of Space Adventure Cobra retail tapes as a bonus to fans. Urban Vision works closely with the world-renowned Madhouse. We already read that. It is Urban Vision's aim to unite the Japanese style of animation with the American style of storytelling to create contemporary form of animated releases geared for a world market. Urban Vision is steadily moving towards this goal by A. introducing the U.S. market to high-quality anime, and B. working in conjunction with existing anime film distributors to expand the U.S. anime market beyond its current cult status, popular among comic book and game playing crowd. Urban Vision also has hopes that its new projects will help bridge the gap between East and the West. Since opening its doors in 1996, Urban Vision has quickly established itself as one of the industry favorites in the anime market. Known for releasing the highest quality productions, UV will be soon incorporating new DVD technology. Urban Vision has domestically released 15 to the home video market, in both English dubbed and the original Japanese version with English subtitles. I'm not sure if they had anything to do with it, but I would say with streaming, I think there's a lot of joint projects, especially with Adult Swim. They are making there are a lot of exclusives and Crunchyroll stuff. You know, they might not be good, but I say it's kind of progress. I mean, their quality may be kind of questionable at times or kind of weird, but with the Uzumaki and all of that being run by Adult Swim and Star Wars Visions, and I would say a bunch of joint productions like that, I would say, yeah, I guess they got what they wanted. But I'm not sure if they had anything involved in it. Of course, not saying that before streaming, the US, the West, and the East did not work together on anything. Of course not. I don't know. Whatever. Let's see their available titles. Biohunter. Dubbed subtitles, $20 or $30 if you are Canadian. That's my ringtone. Released on July 29th, 1997, a demon virus is among us. A strange virus attacks the human genetic code and transforms people into monsters with demonic powers. One such monster is stalking the streets of Tokyo, ripping open young women and devouring their livers. A famed psychic holds the secret to the identity of the monster. Now it's up for the two molecular biologists, Koshigaya and Komada, to find the psychic and his beautiful daughter to kill the monster before it kills again. The demon virus is out to conquer the world. Watch Yoshiaki Kawajiri's Ninja Scroll and Wicked City writing bring Fujihiko Hosono's popular manga to life with style and suspense. Reviewed in Protoculture Addict, number 47. Gatchaman, Volume 1. released on July 29th, 1997. An enormous dragon-shaped airship decimates a city with searing plasma beams and giant robotic arms. Its target? The Mental Plan, a network unifying the world's energy resources. Who can save the plan and the planet? The Gotchamen, piloting the prized airship. The Phoenix, the Gotchamen will launch their counterattack. But once inside the enemy's behemoth, they come to face with the Galactor's Prime Minister X and his entire army of assassins. It's 5 against 1,000 in a fierce, fast action battle to save the planet. Reading Protoculture Addict, number 42. Urban Vision. Available on August 26, 1997. Psycho Driver, an elite agent who enters a troubled soul through a laser computer interface and removes the problem, and hopefully gets out alive. Yuki Kanno is a young, beautiful superstar. So why is she so troubled? It's up to Class A Psycho Driver, Bosojima, to find out. In doing so, he will risk his life, not only against the demon of Yuki's psyche, but also against the very dangers introduced from the outside Yuki's mind. Angelica, a cult leader with her own great powers, and Kudo, Yuki's agent and legal guardian, each want Yuki for their own self-serving plans. They will stop at nothing, not even murder, to possess Yuki and their tremendous psychokinetic powers. Only a Psycho Driver with exceptional talents can release Yuki from both their clutches. It is if he survives. Let's see what kind of titles Urban Vision has in store. We have Biohunter. Urban Vision, dubbed 58 minutes, $20 or $30 if you're Canadian. It was released on July 29th, 1997. A demon virus is among us. It's the funny. Gotchaman, Volume 2, The Red Scepter. Urban Vision, same as before, released on August 26, 1997. During the siege for the Galactor base, the Gotchaman is attacked by a large face of Galactor fighter craft. Caught off guard, the Gotchamen are dangerously close to defeat when they are rescued by the mysterious Red Impulse Squadron. However, will their support be enough to enable the Gotchamen to stop the enemy fighter craft from occupy the Galactor base? Only time will tell as the war at the planet continues. Repeated Protoculture Addict, 47. Dragon Slayer. Is this about the Falcom? Probably not. My Falcom brain wants to believe this is about the game, but I don't think no VA was made, so hopefully, maybe. It probably won't mention here. Faerun was once a peaceful and happy realm, ruled by a wise king. Then came the demon lord Akdam, who, with his black legions and terrifying dragon, overran the kingdom, killed the king and imprisoned the queen. However, as Faerun fell into darkness, the king's young son Sirius was spirited away to safety. In the shadow of In the shadow of Lord Akdam's castle, Sirius grew to be a young warrior, tutored in the ways of the swordsmanship and magic by his father's loyal retainer, Rias. And now he begins the quest to free his mother and avenge his father's death. In doing so, he will face Lord Akdam's most fearsome servant, the monstrous dragon Zagi. Will his sword and sorcery be enough to slay this all-powerful dragon? Reading Protoculture Addict, number 47. A lot of these are Gotchaman, Volume 3, The Final Countdown, Urban Vision, dubbed 50 minutes, released on September 16th, 1997. The final battle between humanity and the alien Galactor for possession of alien Earth has begun. The countdown commences as the Galactors initiate the final offense and power up in the ultimate weapon. As the Gotchamen wait for their orders, Joe's impatient nature leads them to board a Galactor warship disguised as Galactor Warrior. Meanwhile, the Gotchamen must embark on their most important mission, yet without a second in command. It's a brutal fight to the death. Gotchaman is humanity's last chance and must stop at nothing to prevent the Galactor from destroying the planet. Implores Cross Project, number 47. Twilight of the Dark Master, dubbed 50 minutes, $19 or $30, released on November 11, 1997. At the beginning of time, the Earth was enslaved by a powerful, grotesque ogre. The noble guardians were only challenged to total control of those arrogant immortals hold over the helpless victims. Ions later, Neo Shinjuku City, in the year 2089, few ogres or guardians remain. Humans rule the earth, seemingly free of the horrible ogres. Yet deep within the underworld of the city, the supreme ogre is still alive and is praying to enslave the human race once again. Contains nudity and violence, mature audience intended. Legend of the Crystals, based on Final Fantasy. I barely hear anything about these OVAs. It's very weird. 60 minutes, $19, released on December 9th, 1997. Planet R's beautiful existence is maintained by 4 magical crystals, each controlling a different essential element: earth, wind, fire, water, fire, and wind. Long ago, dark forces stole the crystals and threatened to destroy the planet. However, courageous heroes fought desperately, defeated the dark forces, and returned the planet to its peaceful state. Now, 200 years later, the great battle has long forgotten, and the three of the 4 crystals have been stolen by the ancient evil. The young descendant of the ancient heroes, Linali and Pretz, are all that remain to protect the crystal of wind from the evil horses. First, however, they must get past Rouge, leader of a leather-bound army of female pirates who wants to add the 4th crystal to her personal collection of treasures. Even the 2 men to escape her nasty clutches, they must still pass through many dangerous obstacles that protect the magical crystal. Only chosen will survive. Contains mild violence appropriate for all ages, based on the best-selling Japanese role-playing game Legend of the Crystals, based on Final Fantasy number 2. Released on February 3rd, 1998. Beginning of the end. 3 of the sacred crystals have been stolen by the mysterious evil on planet R and been thrown into a state of total chaos. The unthinkable happens when Felinali, along with the 4th and final crystal, is captured by the evil force and taken to the Black Moon to initiate the transformation into the ultimate evil, Death Gionos, bringer of death, Lord of Oblivion. In a strange turn of events, Rouge, the leader of the leather-bound army of female pirates, must team up with Pretz in the Kingdom of Tycoon Royal Regions to fight the common evil. This planet R is literally torn apart by page turn. Its own natural forces. It is a race against time for the fearless heroes to travel to the Black Moon, take on the mechanical swarm of alien soldiers, and retrieve Linali and the 4 crystals before the Death Giono source is set to free. It's an all-out battle to the death, with the prize being the fate of the universe. Contains mild violence appropriate for all ages. Reviewed in Protoculture Addict number 47. Space Adventure Cobra. I really like Space Adventure Cobra. It's really cool. Dubbed, 99 minutes, $24 or $30 if you're Canadian. Released on June 16th, 1999. And the farthest reaches of space you can never go too far. Cobra, a notorious space pirate, falls hard for Jane, a beautiful blondie hunter. When he offers to help her free her sister from a remote prison colony, he is forced to confront Crystal Boy, an old enemy who controls the powerful space mafia guild. As intrigue piles upon intrigue, Cobra must find a way to prevent the destruction of an entire galaxy. Filmed with style and humor, Space Adventure Cobra is a classic adventure brought to stunning life with wit and imagination. Special bonus, Matthew Sweet's music video for his hit song Girlfriend, as seen on MTV. I forget that Space Adventure Cobra is Shonen Jump, I believe. It was on Shonen Jump. It's in Jump Ultimate All-Stars. It's kind of crazy. Tekkamen Blade 2, Stage 1. $20, 60 minutes, $19, and $30. Released on July 28th, 1998. 10 years have passed since the original series, known as Technomen to the US TV fans, and a new breed of Tekkamen faced the new mysterious Radham Yumi Francois. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I'm not French. A young mechanic is recruited into a group of space knights and must conquer fear and experience. In a freak accident, Yumi receives a powerful weapon, the Voltecker Reactor, and becomes a jealous target of Natasha. Meanwhile, Hayato, the pilot, becomes infatuated with Yumi and grows envious of David, the suave playboy. The young warriors must deal with their own demons from the past as they prepare to battle against extreme odds with the fate of humanity at stake. and disprove naivety and violence. Parental discretion is advised. Go-Go 13, Queen Bee, released on August 11th, 1998. Codename Go-Go 13, Professional Assassin. Mission, terminate the infamous Queen Bee, leader of the violent South American guerrilla ring, before she kills a high-profile presidential candidate. One problem. Once inside the beehive, Go-Go discovered Queen Bee's true identity and decided that he must step aside as a very personal feud climaxes to a tragic end. At the end, he won't predict. Queen Bee has something for everyone. Intricate plot appeals to the most intellect of the most discerning viewers, while the constant combat intrigue satisfies the die-hard action fans. It upholds the thrilling story and unabashed adult content that has helped to make the Go-Go 13 characters such a success. Reviewed in Protoculture Addict, number 13. Number 13. Tekkaman Blade, Stage 2. Released on August 11, 1998. The raging battle against the evil Radham and the stormy inter-conflict between the Tekkamen continues to an all-powerful new enemy appears. Yumi falls in love with the mysterious leader, D-Boy. But later discovered that Aki is involved with him. Hurt and jealous, Yumi unwisely attempts to control the enemy by herself, risking the lives of her teammates. Tekkaman Blade, the most powerful member of the Tekkaman team, later clashes with the sinister alien and is badly defeated, causing the younger Tekkaman to impudently seek revenge. The non-stop action continues as the emotion-driven Yumi and her friends face the deadliest opponent they have ever met. Filled with intense color and sound, Tekkaman has something for everyone. Furious action, romantic conflict, and advanced technology. Reviewed in Protoculture Addict, number 24. Tekkaman Blade, Stage 3. Released on September 22nd, 1999. As D-Boy struggles to recover from the last battle with Dead, each member of the team must come to grips with their private turmoil and unite to defeat the most dangerous enemy. In the finale to this acclaimed saga, the origin of David and the strange connections with Tekkaman Dead is finally revealed. As survivor of a horrific disaster, distraught and misguided, Dead mistakenly seeks revenge against the Tekkamen. Dead leaves his destiny, as well as the future of the entire Tekkamen, in David's hands, in an unexpected twist. As the battle between David and Dead begins, D-Boy arrives and the final confrontation ensues, with the outcome that could lead to a repeat of Tekkamen's darkest hour. This concluding the installment will answer all of the questions brought forth in Volume 1 and 2, and bring an exciting finish to the dazzling experience known as Tekkaman Blade 2. Current production inspired by the popular 80s TV show Technoman, from the production company of the Touchman series. That is Tatsunoko, if you did not know. Hurricane Polymar. Urban Vision, released on October 27th, 1998. The Nekozami gang is out to destroy the human race, and the only one standing against them is Hurricane Polymar. Developed by Dr. Oligar at Tokyo Plus, a high-tech research center, Hurricane Polymar represents the latest innovations in the man-machine system. Utilizing a variety of karate skills, utilizing a variety of karate schools, the new gang has emerged stronger than ever before, with a deadlier plan for global destruction. To use the most powerful tsunami bomb in existence to submerge all the Earth's landmasses beneath the ocean. Bereft of Dr. Oligar's aid and advice, the weakened Takeshi must find a way to stop the Nekozami gang before it's too late. It's a race against time as Hurricane Polymar strives to save the Earth. DNA Sites 99.9. Released $20, $30. Released on June 22nd, 1999. The year is 2024. Ooh, that's 2 years from now. Crazy. An errant meteor has ravaged the Earth. In the wake of the disaster, a mysterious military organization has arisen from the ashes to dominate the shattered civilization. Among the survivors is a young boy, Tetsuro Daiba, who discovers that he and two others have been endowed with special powers that pose a hidden threat to the new regime. Thrust into major lies and deceit, they embark on a wild chase and takes them to the inner regions, from mental to the outskirts of the atmosphere, in a question to discover their destiny and defeat the evil traitor force. In a final climactic space battle, opposing forces clash in a hard-fought duel to determine the fate of the human race. liberation, or total complete subjugation. This trio of unlikely heroes will carry the altered DNA and mankind's future to the far reaches of the galaxy, with appearances by Captain Harlock and Space Cruiser Yamato. This action-packed is renowned manga artist Leiji Matsumoto's crowning achievement and is sure to become a classic anime feature. Not rated, except for all ages, mild violence. Original story, Leiji Matsumoto. Producer, Yoshitaka Haga. Director, Masayuki Kojima. Director of photography, Yoshiyuki Tamagawa. Art director, Jiro Kono. Character design, animation director, Marisuke Iguchi. Music director, Katsuo Ono. English language director, Steve Kramer. English language written by R&D Marketplace. Leiji Matsumoto, blah, 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 blah. I guess we have ratings now. Okay, I guess we're going to reviews now. First, we have Ashen Victor GN. At first, we were not enthralled by the art of this manga. It was so different from Battle Angel Alita, Kishiro's near legendary hit. However, as we read the story, we fell in love with this way too short little gem. Try it. Viz Comics, story and art by Yukito Koshiro. Kishiro. I'm sorry. Blackjack, Two-Fisted Surgeon Gun. I love Blackjack, by the way. One of the true classics from Tezuka, the god of manga. Okay, so the art is old, but the stories are cool. Get this GN now. Viz Comics, 4 stars. Blade of the Immortal, Dream Song. This story is all about blood, guts, and revenge. So if you want to read something cute and cuddly, this is not for you. The art is absolutely fabulous, the character designs are absolutely wonderful, and the story is amazing. Dark Horse Comics, story and art by Hiroaki Samura. Darkstalkers, Revenge, number 6. Donovan is looking for the sword called Dalek, because he needs it to destroy all of the Darkstalkers. Unfortunately for him, Morgan is on his way. These translations kind of hurt. Like, look, Morgan, there is no I or like 2 R's. There's a Darkstalkers. This hurts. The art is great, but something's confusing. The story is good, but they may be a little short for a final issue. His story and art by Rune Ishida, 3 stars. Ooh. Dragon Wars Part 1. This is what we call something from the old days. We saw this manga and its predecessor, Dragon Breeder, in 1989 when it was nearly impossible to get any manga in North America. Back then, we could only dream of being able to read it. Thanks, Iron Cat. Iron Cat Comics, story and art by Ryukihei. Ryukihei? Nothing Ryukihei. Gun Crisis. Masayomi Kanzaki, Flag Fighter, Zenon. Attempt to emulate Masamune Shiro. You know what? It somewhat works. Okay, so the art is not the greatest Shiro, but the story is pretty cool. Story is still cool, nothing to write home about, but still worth your attention. Iron Cat Comics, story and art by Masayomi. Gunsmith Cats, Bean Bandit. Rally is still after Bean Bandit and has provoked him into entering a race he did not want anything to do with in the first place. Bean and Rally better watch out. Not everyone plays by the rules. Great fun. Great Dark Horse Comics, story and art by Kenichi Sonata, and is 4 stars. Harlem Beat GN, number 1. The story of 3 teenagers who play basketball in Harlem. Nothing terribly imaginative, slam dunk before, but it is fun. The only problem is that some of the language is a little beyond anyone who does not play street basketball in Harlem. Story by Noriko Nishiyama. That kind of sounds interesting. 3 stars. Mobile Police Patlabor. I hear a lot of good things about Patlabor. I don't know. Patlabor, yeah. This is the manga version of the Patlabor anime series. In this one, the gang meets Takeo Kumagami, aka Miss Perfect. She is perfect when compared to these morons. And Oda finds out a bit hard to swallow. Great fun. Viz Comics, story and art by Masami Yuki. 108 pages. 4 stars. New Vampire Miu. This Vampire Miu takes place before the OVA series we have seen years ago. Part 1 and 2 recount Miyu and Larva's battle. War would be a better term, against the Shima of the Occident, who have come to invade this territory of the Japanese Shima. In Part 3, Miyu in the past also shares some of Miyu's power. She will someday become Miyu's successor as Shima's hunter. Narumi Kakinouchi's original art and story are excellent, albeit sometimes confusing, but the somewhat low quality of the printing is a nuisance to some of the enjoyment in the series. We, however, do not believe this is Iron Cat's fault. The bad quality of the material given to them or a careless job by the printer are to blame. However, if you are a Miyu fan, this comic is a true must. Iron Cat, blah blah blah. 3.5 stars. Live action. Live action. I believe this is about something called Hanabi. It's a big one. It's 3.5 stars, and it's about like cinema. In the past, Akira Kurosawa, as well as Ozu or Mizoguchi, was a symbol of Japanese movie. But now, as the Japanese press is welcoming this new trend of the renaissance of modern Japanese movies recently, Takeshi Kitano, yeah, let's go, has surely become a household name. In 1998, Hanabi was accepted enthusiastically in the World Movie Festivals and received many awards like European Academy Award, the Golden Lion Award at the Venice Film Festival. We would like to recommend this new type of style of entertainment for me. Hanabi has double meanings actually. It means, of course, fireworks, but also flower and fire, the death of tiring guns. This new movie by Kitano, as director and actor, comes after 4 years of silence as an actor. Since Sona Teen, he plays a cop named Nishi. His daughter died and his wife is also dying of cancer. On top of his mishaps, his best friend and partner cop, Miss Horibi, got shot by Yakuza members when Nishi was gone to see his wife in the hospital. Mr. Horibi became paralyzed, the lower half of his body, and has to live alone after his wife and child left him. Since the incident and all of his mishaps, Nishi's world exploded after exploded and he feel a great just live alone. Sorry. Mr. Horibi came and asked to live alone after his wife. On all of his mishaps, Nishi's world exploded and he feels a great injustice. He quit his job as a cop in order to support his best friend and the widow of a cop who died on duty. Nishi kept borrowing money from Yakuzas. He also robbed a bank wearing a cop uniform and driving a cop car, and then took off his dying wife on a journey of no return. Life and death and the calmness of action of regressive manners, laughs and violence and love. All sorts of human emotions are packed in this film. As if it's a big shock, director Kitano practically did everything, as a director, screenplay writer, and even putting his own paintings all over the film. For viewers who are so used to Hollywood movies, full of dialogue and action scenes, this film must be very quiet, and the character Nishi might look very cold-hearted. Nishi loves only his wife and close friends. For him, the rest are not even human. He is extremely kind to those whom he loves, but is extremely cruel to the ones he hates. He switches between those feelings in a matter of fact. What a difference! Director Kitano purposely dispensed with dialogues. Without words, we keep seeing scenes and we understand the story of the sad cop. The digital movie making required certain camera impressions or storytelling, but Kitano movies and his Hanabi approaches us very differently. The calmness is almost painful. In this film, we can see many Kitano paintings inside the hospital, even in Yakuza offices, coffee shop, the bank, hotels, and inns. And even the scenes in the movie are like paintings. Mount Fuji and the Rainbow Bridge of Tokyo Bay are just like postcards. Despite the extreme violence, this film almost looks like an elegant art gallery, and yet the beauty of this film really reflects death like cherry blossoms, suicides, etc. Unlike Christian culture, Japanese culture has beautified death, especially when there is no solution, such as wars, or no hope, such as illness. Nishi's wife, Miyuki, illness gives her no hope. She's dying gradually. Maybe ordinary people take care of the dying spouse till he or she dies and move on later. But Nishi didn't. He chose to die with her. Is this a form of love? Is this the ultimate love? Of course, there is no answer. Miyuki, in the end, says her only 2 words to her husband. I'm sorry, and thank you. That really froze my blood. After hearing the two gunshots, lending the impression that they commit suicide together, all I can see is the large blue ocean. I got a call. Dying of cancer in a way is a defeat, so why not? Why don't we accept it with good grace? I felt like Nishi was proud of dying with his wife in the end. Although it was quick and very violent, everything goes back proud of dying with his wife in the end. Everything goes back to the ocean, the nature, as if nothing had happened. Outwardly, this is a cop story with violence, but deep down, I felt it was a love story. It's almost zen. And I also felt as if director Kitano asked us, can you die for someone you love? Can you abandon everything for the sake of someone you adore? What a movie, I tell you. Hanabi, Japan, 1997, 133 minutes. Directed, screenplay, edited, paintings all by Takeshi Kitano. Music by Joe Hisashi of Nausicaa, 1997, Bandai Visual, TV Tokyo. Blah. Daimajin, 3.5 stars. This 1960... Is that 60? Yeah. 1966 Daile movie is really something. These days are so many good computer graphics to create fantasy images, but for what the Japanese studio had in the 1960s, the special effects looked amazingly wonderful. It's categorized as a Japanese horror classic. We can enjoy this film with a feudal age story of 15th, 16th century Japan. Daimajin means the big evil person on the top mountaintop. This god was standing to protect the people in the valley until an evil lord made hell on earth with this place. You may think it's a B movie. Well, in fact, it's a very high quality movie, to my surprise. Acting and sets are really impressive to look at, as well as the cinematography. It's a good versus evil story, but you surely have to enjoy this fantasy. There are much action scenes like Hong Kong movies or gory scenes that you might expect, but it's fun in a different world for 90 minutes. Eiji Naka. If you're a fan of Rurouni Kenshin, this is a movie for you. It offers an interesting historical context, particularly when you're watching the new Kenshin OVA series. Eiji Nakai is a Japanese expression saying, it's alright, right? Why not? Or what the hell? Etc. The story is a big compliment because it takes place in the 19th century Japan, before the 1860s revolution, when the Tokugawa shogunate collapsed under the pressure of an imperial restoration and foreign businessmen, which is literally chaotic and in a way anarchic. This power shift was played by the samurai class, but the people at the bottom were used, trampled, and really suffered. In 1866, there is a couple named Genji and Ine. No matter how hard the workers try, everything goes wrong, and they suffer needlessly due to social anarchy. However, director Imamura turned this tragedy into almost a comedy. Despite the bloodshed and the corruption, in a way the story is like a Charles Dickens novel, and we can really learn a lot about the revolution. In Japan, people call it the Meiji Restoration. Through characters like gangsters, streetwalkers, prostitutes, beggars, and employed samurais, we can learn about changing society through the eyes of ordinary people. It's also a very entertaining movie, but it's very confusing. We sometimes lose track of who is who, and it's a bit long. MMG and CP. Japan, 1981, 151 minutes. Japan with directed by Shohei Imamura, photography by Masahisa Umeda, music by Shinhiro Ikabe with Shigeru Isumiya, Genji, Kaori Momomi, Ine, Ken Ogata, and Furukawa. It was rated 3.5 stars. Orochi, the 8-headed dragon. I'm interested in it because I believe this is 2.5 stars. Eons ago, many gods sprung form from the primeval darkness. Among these gods were Amaterasu, goddess of the sun, Tsukiyomi, god of the moon, and Susanoo, god of the sea. One of the gods, Tsukiyomi, turned himself into an 8-headed dragon and ravaged the earth. Susanoo fought against him, locked in ice, and banished into outer space. Ages later, 2 sons were born to the Emperor of Yamato, Japan's ancestral name. One of them, Prince Osu, believed cursed and condemned them to earth, was saved by divine intervention. Now a man, Osu, must fulfill his destiny. As a warrior of gods, he will have to face many challenges, such as pulling down a rebellion, facing a fire god and a sea monster, to eventually defeat the evil god Tsukiyomi. Returning from exile. The story on which the movie is based comes from the Japanese Foundation mythology. The movie is not particularly faithful to the ancient legends, to say the least. But what is particularly surprising is the science fiction treatment it received. The director of the special effects is Koichi Kawakita, who is known for his work on the 90s Godzilla series. His love for mechas and a generous overdose of optical effects is all too evident. In our opinion, rather appropriate to the story that is supposed to be Japan's most sacred legend. Perhaps the Japanese feel the same way, since the movie didn't do well over there. Abstraction made of what it should have been. The movie could work as simple entertainment, though barely over the standard over quality of Hercules or Xena. This movie is released by ADV in widescreen, which is a good thing, and the dubbing is adequate. Toho, 1994, directed by Takao Okawa, starring Masahiro Takashima and Yasuhiko Sawaguchi. Here we have a flyer for Canadian National Expo 1999, which was hosted on August 27th through the 29th in 1999. Toronto, Canada. Metro Toronto Convention Center, North Building, 25 front next to Sky Dome in downtown Toronto. But isn't the Sky Dome the fucking thing that's on that Drake album cover, Views from the Six? Is that is that it? Whatever. Sorry. Japanese guest of honor is Mari Ijima, the voice actress of Minmay and Macross, with special guests Apollo Smile, live action anime girl. I'm curious about that. Lisa Ortzitz of Pokemon, Lena Slayers, and Records of Lodoss War, Rachel Lewis, Misty, Utena Revolutionary Girl, and Martinez. Martina from Slayers. Crispin Freeman, Revolutionary Girl, Sagadas, Roland Parliament, Terry Hawks, Jill Frappier, Susan Roman, Toby Proctor, Rob Tinkler, Pat Lee, and C.B. Beluski. Expo attractions. Corporate area. Masquerade, over 500 prizes. Artist Ally, Ali. Charity auction, autograph signings, large exhibitor area, 3 video rooms, Q&A session, seminars and workshops, and anime trivia, video games, anime karaoke, art and model showcase, anime win, lose, or draw, anime all night, concert series, Hollywood, and accommodations, Strathcona Hotel. Expo rate $99 through Canada or $69 US. 1-800-268-8304. One block. Sponsors: ADV, Urban Vision, Anime Village, US Manga, and Anime Insider, Anime Pass. And here's the website, hobbystar.com/cnanime. I'll probably look at pictures of this event later, but I'll probably not in this video. I'll probably do it on my own, but I think that'll be a good video. And here we have a spotlight for Lodoss War. I kind of want to watch this. Hopefully there aren't that many spoilers. I don't usually think there are. Records of Lodoss War overview. The 1990s have not been very gifted as far as cult anime goes. I wouldn't say that. As far as we can remember, the only 3 90s series that managed to become true classics in this decade. The first is Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon. No kidding. No kidding. The adventures of schoolgirls in sailor suits who fight evil, love and cheesecake. Not our favorite anime. Sorry. The other is Mobile Suit Gundam 83 Stardust Memory. Often thought it's the best Gundam series ever. We can only concur. Stardust Memories is pretty good, I would say. Third series, and in our opinion, the one that probably has the most impact on the world of anime, is Record of Lodoss War. Heavily inspired from both Dungeons & Dragons and Dragonlance. In fact, what was become of Lodoss War was one of the game scenarios of Lodoss' original author, Ryo Mizuno. Record of Lodoss War was at first a series of novels written by Ryo Mizuno, a big fan of D&D and enthusiastic role player, and published by Kadokawa Shoten. The summer of 1990, Record of Lodoss War became an OVA series, whose first 7 episodes recounted the first novel and the last 6 episodes, the 6th and 7th novels. The novels between were never made into an animation. The extraordinary character designs by Nobuteru Yuki, Weathering Conflict, Escanflone, and Yutaka Izubuchi, better known for his mecha designs and pat labor, Dumbine and Gundam, and the wonderful soundtrack by Mitsuo Hagida, remain the Record of Lodoss War OVA series' best remembered features. The animation was good, but very limited in many scenes, mostly due to the complexity of Nobuteru Yuki's designs. Of course, the story also has a lot of charm and interest. Record of Lodoss War recounted the adventures of Parn, Deedlit, and their friends in the attempt to defend Lodoss against the demonic armies of Marmo and their evil lords Beld and Ashram. And Carla, the Grey Witch, whose establishing acts have provoked many wars and the death of thousands upon thousands of innocents. In other words, this was a rather classic, albeit thrilling, D&D campaign transposed into animation. The series was met with such success that a TV series was sought to follow very soon after. Then the fans waited and waited. When Haruki Kadokawa, head of Kadokawa Shoten, was arrested on drug charges, oh no. Yeah, damn. Was arrested on drug charges. Damn. That's like a big deal in Japan. Were drastically reduced to start the lean years ahead of the first department to suffer the cuts in animation. By the time any chances of ever seeing a Lodoss TV series seemed to be gone forever. However, in late 1997, some designs for its supposed TV series would suddenly appear to the new type, which is coincidentally Kadokawa Shoten main anime magazine, as if out of nowhere, titled Lodoss to Senki, Auk Kishiden, lit Record of Lodoss War Chronicles of the Heroic Knight. It started as a broadcast run on April 1st, 1998, and ended on September 30th the same year. The following is a short rundown of the story. If that sounds cool, wait until you see the animation. Kazuhiro Soata's wonderful original character designs have been masterly rendered into the anime style by Takashi Azumano and Toshihiko Sasaki. When the animation by AIC is a relative to high quality for a TV series, the relative means that animation is rather unequal quality. Some scenes being so well done they put the OVA series to shame. A lot of fight scenes are better than the OVA, that is for sure, while some are just adequate. However, most of the series animation is one notch over standard TV quality. The soundtrack by Yoko Kanno, Esconflow, Macross Plus, Brain Powered, Cowboy Bebop, Ton A Gundam, and Kaoru Wada is superb. While the opening track, sung by Maya Sakamoto, who also sung many of the songs in Escaflowne and Hitomi's voice, which is extraordinary, the animation goes with it is very nice. As for the story, it is pure Lodoss, with its bigger-than-life heroes and villains, cute elves, loads of action and suspense, and above all, adventure. And in all, if you liked a Record of Lodoss War series, there is absolutely no reason why you should not like Chronicles of the Heroic Knight. It has everything the original series had and even builds on it. By the way, if you have seen Chronicle of the Night and loved it, or desperately love to see the story, you will be pleased to know that it will be released in North America this fall by Central Park Media, which also revealed the OVA series. We cannot wait to see it in English. Here are some stills from it. Looks nice. Some characters, I won't really go over this, since I would recommend that you just watch it probably. Synopsis about the episodes. More synopsis. Oh, look at this. Holy shit, look at this 90s ass Photoshop. Look at this 90s ass Photoshop job.
Cowboy Bebop Cowboy Bebop photoshopped onto a fucking Matrix poster. There is nothing more 90s than this. Holy shit. Holy shit. This is amazing. Just marvel at this. Spike Spiegel, Faye Valentine, Planet Anime. Planet Anime presents 25% off all domestic tapes of all time, 20% off all domestic DVDs, the best selection of import and domestic anime CDs, laserdisc, illustration books, toys, and more. Produced by Planet Anime, written and directed by Amina Tanalp. https astrotoys.com, Galaxy Manga, and totoroye.com and JSounds. Leading the anime revolution. So this page is about video games. I like video games. This page is about video game reviews. About Himea Soft. Some other games. Divided. I feel like I've heard of Divided before. I'm not too well versed. I'm not familiar, but I feel like I've heard Divided from somewhere. Alright, so let's start. So, there is a new player in the PC market. Oh, hold on. So, there is a new player in the PC market for H titles. In case you don't know, H titles means basically hentai. Eroge porn games. Well, here's my take on this new company, which is an amalgamation of Seawares and Scoop. They are a fairly experienced company that has received a little recognition over the past few years, with the market generally saturated with H games by J-List, and the other excellent one by Software Sculptures, now Central Park Media. I was interested to take a look at this new company. First, Divided and Fatal Revelations, with the former being their latest release and the latter being their earliest release. In my opinion, Software Sculptors is still king of the hill with their bang-on translation of Nocturnal Illusion. The way the game was translated was superb, in keeping with the feel of the traditional H titles. Himea Soft, though, would be a very close second, and with the imminent release of the great Eve Burst Error, they could dethrone my choice for the top of the H games world. I wonder if this is about translators, more or less than the actual devs of the game. Himea Soft, however, needs to overcome some hurdles. A few pointers to their game translation might help. Sometimes their translation of what characters say is inaccurate. What really surprised me is that their older title, Fatal Relations, they were extremely accurate in their translation. While with their most recent effort, they stacked off and took creative license many times. I disagree with this, since what I'm hearing doesn't always match with the text and really destroys the game experience for me. This is especially noticed in sex scenes in Divided, as often Himea will dump extra things that characters definitely are not saying. I don't know what happened, but a more literal translation is needed, in my opinion. This is my biggest beef with Himea. Another smaller but significant critique of their product has to do with their thin and trim manuals. Granted, most of the games don't need a science degree to operate, but it would still be appreciated by many less computer literate fans if Himea Soft could provide detailed instructions. Also, I do not appreciate automatically creating a save file directory without my knowledge or permission. There should be an installation procedure allowing me to specify directory. An executable file on my hard drive would also be greatly appreciated, as it would make extremely convenient for me to pop the CD in and hit a shortcut, rather than open up Windows Explorer and find the file on the CD. As well as more character work from the games. See video game manuals in general to understand what I mean. Their manuals are very plain, design-wise. Finally, a recommended hardware setup would be greatly appreciated. Though these games seem to run fine in the middle spec Pentiums, I suspect there would be great lags in operating the games at bare minimum. I'm using Pentium 133 as the low end, and the higher spec in the manual. If someone has a bare minimum system and could try out these games, please do. Now the positives.
I think Kamea is doing a great job by picking games that are involved and long. We can see their first effort in Fatal Revelations. They chose an game that was extremely simple to translate. To the new Dividend, which must have been a pain. I also agreed to keep the original voice actors and actresses. I'm a sub fan. Also, Himea is beating the crap out of Jailish by picking games that are newer and have beautiful art, as well as decent gameplay. Finally, Himea Soft must be given high commendations for making a game with no hitches to play, no crashes, etc. I cannot stress enough as games that crash make me sick. Well, that's my take on Himea Soft. I am interested to see if they will be releasing other non-H games, Girlfriend of Steel, Princess Maker, I'm familiar with Princess Maker, I think, and continue its best in bringing the best of Japanese H titles. Dividend. My first impression with Dividend was that it would be your standard high school adventure with a little spice thrown in the mix, a la Three Sisters story. However, my thoughts quickly turned from that as I quickly began to experience what was possibly one of the most demonic pieces of work I have ever come across. Wait, don't get me wrong, it's just a theme. It all works together. However, I must forewarn anyone who is buying this game of the graphically nature of the game, as well as the psychological aspect. There are some pretty sick people in this game, and I would not recommend it to the weak of heart. Story-wise, this game contains one of the most enthralling stories. You are a mysterious high school student who seems to have a weird and strange past. When you transfer to the new school, you discover things that are not exactly normal. You meet an odd group of people that include Yuta, your new best friend, and Azusa, a person who mysteriously resembles a long-lost childhood friend. As an added bonus, the story is non-linear, yes, so you'll want to play it through over and over again. For those who aren't able to get different endings, please visit Himeasoft's site for FAQ or walkthrough of the game. As far as the gameplay is concerned, it is your standard choose-your-command adventure in the vein of most of these kind of games. However, I like the added bonus from the Japanese original of the CG completion count. Shows how much of the game you have unveiled, and the option to really fast-forward the text. The fast-forward option really helps when you are playing through a second or third time. I really gotta hand it to Himeasoft for keeping these two options in. Also, as per standard in these games, you can view the CGs of the scenes that you have completed. I also appreciate the fact that this game has 10 save slots, allowing me ample room to return to my favorite parts of the game. It really ticks me off sometimes when programmers only give you 3 thoughts to save. Musically, this game excels with excellent music composition. The best part is that these files are MIDIs, so you can save them on your computer to play them. There are also many voices and sound effects that further enhance the overall atmosphere in the game. Voices are done in Japanese, however, it fits the mood of the game. The voices are top-notch. However, I am disappointed that Himeasoft at times took creative license as to what the characters are saying. I don't think this is good, and I hope they change their policy to direct translation of what the characters are saying at all times for e-burst error. As far as the graphics are concerned, the artwork is phenomenal in areas, the gruesome ones especially, and suffers in others. I feel it's unfortunate that the characters have a great look when they are in general poses in the game. However, in special scenes, such as H scenes, they seem to lose much of their personality or look. This kind of inconsistency disturbs me somewhat, that the graphics are fairly clean in general, and are big. I must, however, warn those who are faint of heart, the graphics seen in this game other than sex scenes, that we must be aware of. Overall, I enjoyed my experience with Dividend. I wasn't expecting much of the game by Himeasoft, however, they've proven me wrong, and that they know how to choose their games carefully, to ensure that people will enjoy them. The game took me around 15 hours to beat, which is decent considering it is an H game. Give it this game a 9 out of 10. Fatal Relations. I don't know how to say this, but it is interesting to see how far Himea has come. When comparing Dividend to Fatal Relations, it's like watching 2 different companies. After playing through Fatal Relations in just over an hour, I can say that I really have to commend Himeasoft for maturing so quickly. This game is what I could consider H trash. Story-wise, there is nothing redeeming. A guy whose father is tragically killed is adopted by his father's employer, a wealthy widow with 5 eligible daughters of varying age. You can see where it goes from here. And it becomes your pretty standard click and explore adventure. To make matters worse, the storyline is completely fixed, and so there is no deviation allowed. Gameplay is standard as well. Click, scroll text, nothing interesting, nothing worth replaying over and over again. Since there is only one ending and one possibility, Top it off, there are only 3 save slots, so choose your saves wisely. However, at an hour to finish, there is no reason to save. In terms of graphics, I must again give them average marks. Nothing in the graphics says, "Look at me!" Nothing really exciting or dynamic. Music is also nothing to write home about, as it was completely unnoticed. Voices, however, were still done well, and I appreciate the fact they are in Japanese. Oddly enough, the translation of the voices and what they are saying is dead on, which makes me wonder what Himea Soft is going with David Ed, and what we expect from more translation leeway in the future. I, for one, hope not. So what can I say? This is an average game. If you find this game for cheap, and I mean cheap, you might want to consider buying it. Otherwise, I'd say pick up Himea Soft's newer stuff, as the newer games are much better. Don't forget this was Himea Soft's first game, and you have to appreciate they've come so far in so little time. An average game gets an average mark, so Fatal Relations get a 5 out of 10. Immoral Study, Scenario 1, Reiko Shirakawa. The main character of the game is professional Hirosuji, played by you. You'll be tutoring Miss Reiko Shirakawa, daughter of a wealthy family. Reiko is shy and a naive girl who's having trouble with her math. It'll be your task of teaching her all she needs to know, but watch out. It seems the nanny is out to ruin your fun. Throughout the game, there's only Miss Reiko's voice, which is fine by me since the nanny is an Obaba. I don't know. There's some animated gifs in the game, though simple, and all the pictures are uncensored. The game itself is rather easy and forgiving. Most options can be selected several times and will feed back information on the situation. There only seems to be the hard part. There only seems to be one hard part of this game, and it's keeping the nanny out, which isn't very hard either. People with very little time or frustrated with hard games will find this game easy. The translations could be a bit more accurate, but it was written to spice up the game for the North American market. The game actually runs off the CD-ROM itself and no installation is required. I assume 8 megabytes is for saving your place in the game. The breaks in action when you can save often are often long, and it's not obvious when you can surprisingly save your place. However, I did help her, and I got to complete the game within 30 minutes. Surprisingly, even if you play the part of the idiot or the oversexed lunatic, you can still finish this game. Genre: hentai PC game. Requirements: Windows 95 through 98 compatible, Pentium, 75 megahertz, 60 megabytes of RAM, CD-ROM drive. Yeah. Here we have Amy's Fantasies. Okay, how should I present you this game? Oh, I know. Come closer, everybody. Will you look at this computer by Seawares? Look at the beautiful character designs who capture perfectly the anime feel. In fact, when you finish the game, you'll get a nice preview of an incoming, no pun intended, anime. When you buy this nice game, you'll play Amy, a nice girl who likes her brother too much. Way too much. Okay. So you go through with a lot of trouble to save him and achieve Amy's fantasies. What do you say? Yeah, you're right. It's hard. It's hard to call Amy's Fantasies. I'm paid to say the name. A game because you don't have a lot of choice options. Sometimes you get only one choice. After a while, the music will drive you berserk, and 2-frame animation is not an animation. But my friend, let me show you some nice side of Amy's Fantasies. Ka-chink! The artwork is top level. The anime at the end and the trailer for the next episode are funny. In short, if you want the artwork, buy it. If you want a game, choose something else. And in conclusion, Amy's Fantasies, Amy's Fantasies, Amy's Fantasies, Amy's Fantasy. Reviewed by Normazan Bonabu. Kotobuki. An unprecedented over 18 pleasure experience. That's how Seawares defined this game. When I have been asked to review this game, I was intrigued by the cover. A cool guy, his sister, she looks so young, you can't assume she is his sister, and pool. Yes, pool. Kotobuki is an ironic game based on pool. First you choose your character, the boy or the girl, and then you enter a gigantic game of pool, where you must strike the balls in a certain order to complete the level. When you're done, you're rewarded with a picture of a scantily clad lady. Wow! If only school worked this way. Anyway, this is a funny game, but don't expect an epileptic attack. Don't get me wrong here, the character designs are beautiful, and Kotobuki features a lot of nice pictures, but it looks like they tried to boost and honest game with adult approach. The game is fun, but don't buy it for the kinky pictures. That sounds interesting. Might want to check that out. Here we have Outlaw Star. A kind of color spread for Outlaw Star. I know this is like a classic 90s anime. This is like the most 90s of anime. Let's read it. Outlaws aren't all bad. Outlaw Star, future hero next generation, year 105 of the Toward Star calendar, a strange other space solar system in a strange galaxy, a world where powerful space pirates rule the day. As colonization of the star continues, there arises a group of outlaws who live on the fringe of the interstellar community. Gene Starwind is a man with a past, but he doesn't talk about it, working as a mercenary and bounty hunter. Sometimes he works within the law, and sometimes he doesn't. He and his female companions travel the galaxy in his ship, the Outlaw Star, and no matter how fast they go, danger always manages to catch up with them. Also look for Saber Marionette R. Meet Lime, Cherry, and Bloodberry before they became the famous marionettes they are today. It's the very first Saber Marionette animation. It shows somewhat different side of the characters. They're younger, but they still manage to get in just as much trouble. And of course, there's a group of adversaries to fight as their adventure gets underway. The girls never give up. And Saber Marionette again. Saber Marionette J, again, is the direct home studio sequel release, originally of the hit Japanese animation series Saber Marionette J. Lime, Cherry, and Bloodberry, female-like androids called marionettes, have returned to Ataru's side. The somewhat reformed marionettes of Faust, Tiger, Lux, and Panther are sent to Ataru and friends to learn more about being human. Enter a seventh marionette named Marine, who has a very mysterious power, and they all possess a special mating circuit that allows a marionette to feel emotions. This might have been in Super Robot Wars. I don't know. Distributed by Pioneer, produced by Bandai. For more information, please see pioneeranimation.com or tell 1-800-421-6221 retailers. Please call Pioneer Entertainment Sales at 1-817-5050 times 50484, or call your favorite video game distributor. Model news. Some Gundams, just Gunpla. Very cool. Let's see what they have to say. The MG Dom is coming. The MG Dom is coming. Master Grade. Yes, this is not a joke. We swear it is true. And what we have seen from it so far, Shizuka show photos. It will be a fantastic kit. Like all Year War classics that have been released in the Master Grade line, the UC-79 Dom has been slightly redesigned, with better proportions and details, such as wider torso, bigger arms and hands, larger separated skirt armor, and Doms was too small in one piece, etc. Another plus is a truly incredible selection of weaponry that will come with it. The Heat Sword and the original Hyper Bazooka are there, but so are the 90mm machine gun with extra clips, the Panzerfaust, and the 800mm Hyper Bazooka seen in 83 MS-98 Dom Tropen. Talk about a trip. Of course, all the interior details for the bodies and legs are there. The lower leg structure looks awesome. And some of the molding technology seen in the Perfect Grade kits has made it into the Master Grade line. For the hands with the fully movable fingers, the only negative point is that some of the joints look like they have been taken from MG Gelgoog. Not necessarily a good sign. Whatever happens, the rumors and hypotheticals will be laid to rest when we have the monster on our hands. It will go for 4,000 yen, same as GPA and G Defensor, and should be released in June. This is written on June 14th, and no Dom yet. We will keep you informed if it is still not arrived by the next PA issue. There's the Dom right there. Universal Century Gundam kits. Okay, so everybody, or next to everybody, knows that the new 144 scale RX-77 gun cannon kit, which has been released a few weeks ago. Well, surprise, the GC is in fact part of the new line of the high-grade 1/44 scale. 144 scale. Redesigned classic mobile suits from the UC timeline, titled Universal Century. The next kit, slated to be released in June, is the original Mobile Suit Gundam MS-15 Gyan, 800 yen, followed by Gundam Double Zeta's AMX Zaku 3 Kai. Yes, the green one piloted by Mashmir Sero in August, 15,000 yen. 1,500 yen. And Zeta Gundam AMX Quelby. I'm on cons. That's... Is this supposed to be like... I don't remember. Is this like earlier translation of Haman Karn? I can't remember. I literally beat Zeta, so I'm just gonna assume this is like Haman Karn, like a fucked up translation. All the mobile suits are designed by Hajime Kotoki, Gundam Sentinel, 83, and V others. The next kits in the lineup are still anybody's guesses. We pray for some Gundam Sentinel stuff, such as Zeku's. Since this line seems to be heading in a direction or trying to satisfy our wildest fantasies, we expect some pretty cool releases in 2000. New 140 scale RX-78 Gundam kit. Bandai will soon release a new 144 RX-78 Gundam kit at an amazing price of 300 yen. That was the price of the original 1980 kit. The kit is pretty similar design to the perfect grade RX-78 and will not be high grade. This means it will be molded into one, maybe two colors. It will seem to be a cool little kit, but let's wait until we see to give our final option. The next master grade kits might be the 100 Shiki and the Mobile Suit Zeta 100 Double Zeta Gundam. Let's just hope that these will be designed by Hajime Kotoki. A Double Zeta Gundam Kotoki version. Yeah, we can live with that. And the 100 Shiki will be gold plated. No dates have been announced for those two kits. I want a Shiki. I want 100 Shiki. The 1 out of 144 Turn A Gundam kits have arrived. And there they are, we must say, quite nice. The Turn A itself is a rather quaint little thing, molded in off-white, blue, and red. It comes with the shields and the beam rifle. The mustache is not that bad when it's seen in 3D. Come on, the mustache is awesome. Fuck the haters. The Turn A Gundam mustache is awesome, okay? It rather looks like a face guard when seen on the top and side. The mobile flat is an even better kit. Very mobile, no pun intended, and very cool and different in both its modes. Yes, the 144 kit is transformable. It comes with both a beam rifle and is molded in dark blue gray, off-white, orange, and medium gray. Both kits are highly detailed, especially the flat, and at a 500 a piece, are cheap as heck. We paid $12 Canada for each. The next Turn A kit should be 100 and 144 Capul and Sumo. Those are cheap as fuck, damn. Probably inflation, but like, damn. So this is going to be very interesting, because this is about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And obviously, I said this before, but JoJo was not very well known in the West. And obviously, as you know, JoJo was not that known, obviously. So this is going to be very interesting because this is about JoJo. And as you know, JoJo was not that well known in the West until, you know, the anime in 2012. And it's probably the biggest anime out there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what a JoJo was like in the 90s when it was still obscure and it's very hard to find it. So let's hear what people in the 90s had to say about JoJo. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure overview. It's dusk and preparations are made for an Aztec ritual. When the moon is full, a strange figure wearing a stone mask climbs up the stone steps to an altar to sacrifice a young maiden. The gathered Aztecs perform their ritual dance as the wearer of the mask plunges a spear into his victim. With the sacrificed woman's blood, the mask grows tentacles and attaches itself firmly to the wearer's head. He turns and faces the crowd of anxious worshippers and raises his hands in a gesture of triumph. While the stone mask glows with an inner light, the intro then cuts to another place in time, to a coffin labeled Dio being pulled from the depths of the ocean, and showing its occupants shadowed in the darkness on a stairwell, while other severed bodies drained in their blood lie lifeless at his feet. It cuts once again to a woman lying in a hospital bed. She is unwell. Superimposed above her appears the stone and mask of ivy, entwined. This is the only history revealed at the start of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure OAV. Obviously, this is about the anime, the OVA. Every once in a while, you see an anime that comes straight out of left field and defy all preconceptions. In this case, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, originally, I was expecting something along the lines of hentai anime, from the title, you know. But I was ever wrong. Part of this problem is the lack of solid information on this series. Despite its cult status and strong popularity in Italy and Taiwan, that's true. They were very popular it was very popular in Italy, obviously. It seems very people have actually seen or heard of it in North America, hence the small amount of material in English. And that's a shame because I found JoJo's to be one of the few solidly written and entertaining OVAs in the fighting genre. A genre that usually bores me to tears with cliche characters, paper-thin thoughts, and testosterone-driven machismo. Of course, it helps that JoJo's is based on a long-running manga series by Araki Hirohiko, and not from a video game. So there is an ample opportunity to flesh out the story, even if the plot elements are rather straightforward. Unfortunately, the OAVs only cover a small fraction of the entire 60-plus collected volumes of the manga, so there are definitely a lot of details missing and a lot of unanswered questions which the viewer unfamiliar with the original manga will have while watching. However, I first saw the series without knowing the long history leading up to the showdown between Jotaro, with a U, and Dio, and still enjoyed it tremendously. It's that good. Araki Hirohiko's original manga, Jojo no Kimio no Boken, began serialization in the massive weekly Shonen Jump 12 years ago and is rumored to be wrapped up this year. Very funny. About that, they were very wrong. They were probably just talking about part 5, which was ending. I'm not sure if Hirohiko is best known, one of his first foray into manga translation, a hyper-violent precursor to JoJo's. I love how there's a space in there. Animego released a video version in 1995. Some of Hirohiko's trademark elements are present in Bao, a story about a parasite creating an ultimate weapon out of an unsuspecting victim, but the story is predictable and not very memorable. The JoJo manga follows the details of the Joestar family over generations and their conflict with the immortal Dio Brando. Each part focuses on a different Joe in the family. Part 1 is based around Jonathan Joestar in England in 1880, and it's a more gothic tone. Part 2, volumes 6 through 12, feature Joseph Joestar with an F. It takes place in New York in 1937. Not really. Around the world. Part 3, volumes 13 to 28, which is where the OVAs take place, is centered around Kujo Jotaro in 1987. The manga continues on past this point, but since the storyline doesn't apply specifically to the OVAs, I won't go into any more detail. I put together a short synopsis of the manga story leading to the 13 to 28 to help explain some of the mystifying plot points that are present in the OVA. Keep in mind that I have not read the manga and can't verify the accuracy of whatever research. Some assumptions had to be made. One of the first striking differences of the JoJo anime is the eschewing of the traditional anime style for a stronger attempt at realism. The fairly realistic character designs with the exaggeration of physics are clearly influenced by Fist and North Star, including the characters defining battle cries, and this gives JoJo's a unique release from the other releases. The direction is also very striking, using dramatic close-ups and sequences looking like they were lifting straight on manga pages, including some couple screenshots. This is from the manga. Segue, here's an ad. J-List. You'll understand later. Here's an ad. We have to read the ad. Just USA is the premier maker and distributor of quality adult anime CD-ROM products. With the title by Just USA, Milky House, and Otaku Publishing, come to our website to see our many fine English language hentai simulation games and other great products, including the world's first anime strip poker. Order online through our website. No internet? Fax Moiseville at 619-839-3745 and request an order form. Dealer inquires welcome. Hentai anime poker. There's no porn. Wait. Can I show this? I'm gonna show it anyway. Porn. I don't see any naked women. They're not strictly naked, so it's fine. With hundreds of unique products from rare doujinshi to J-pop to AV videos and DVD, from high-quality hardcore photo books to Japanese magazine products, J-List is a very special place on the World Wide Web. If you love Japan as we do, then you'll find our home list at J-List. Subscribe to our free mailing list for cool news from Japan. Email jlist@jlist.com for more information. And Milky House, a new alliance of hentai game companies from Japan. Milky House promises to bring you the very best games straight from the source. We pride ourselves with an accurate translation with no writing down or changing the original story. Enjoy our great new release virtual reality dating simulator Make Club. All distributed through Jest. Now back to our regular scheduled programming. JoJo. Including the panels and sound effects, Mood is superbly created using effective lighting and saturated color palette. This innovative work helps cover up some of the limited animation caused by the detailed character designs and give the OVA a exciting edge. The action sequences are loaded with tension and energy. There is a real sense of power that the stand users wield, and the terrible consequences born of their actions. As a result, the series is extremely violent, bordering on splatterpunk and Clive Barker-esque horror. But it never glorifies it. Strangely enough, though, in the first 3 parts there is a wicked streak of humor, black and willowbrow, that offsets some of the darker elements of the series. Fortunately, the humor doesn't get as corny as, say, Bastard, a series that shares many violent sensibilities as JoJo's. Hirohiko also has a tendency to name characters after bands and musicians, a la Bastard. But I'm glad this is held in check for OVAs, except for the incredibly silly Vanilla Ice. Oh boy, he sounds scary. While unassuming, the music for JoJo's by Marco Di Ambrioso does its job by adding appropriate mood when required. As well, the music timings sync up to the images and the action on screen for added punch. Sound design was done at Skywalker Sound for a truly international production. There doesn't appear to be much merchandise for JoJo's other than a few books and a video game from Capcom, which was released for arcades around the end of the year. A PlayStation version is set to be forthcoming this year. The original videos were released from November 93 to December 94 in Japan, and were directed by Hiroyuki Kitabuko, who also directed Golden Boy, Rojin Z, Black Magic, MX66 Tale, and Tale of Two Robots segment of Robot Carnival. He was also involved in the animation for Ghost in the Shell and spin-off release. There have been announcements that other OVA volumes will be released at the end of the year, as a prequel leading up to the story in Egypt, and maybe filling in some of the gaps of the story those who are not familiar with the manga. There are also rumors of impending US release of the original OVA series. Keep your fingers crossed. Satoshi Kon also worked on it too. I'm not sure if he was a director, but he definitely did work on it. Like its brethren, JoJo's follows the tradition of a long-time macho fighting anime and suffers from the lack of development, characterization, and growth. But this doesn't really distract as the story is well crafted and executed. The fights are extremely well choreographed, fiercely intelligent, relying on more ingenuity instead of brute strength. Noticeably absent too is the sexism inherent of the show with its nature. No bouncing bimbos here, thank you. The things are what definitely set JoJo apart from the rest. By avoiding pitfalls of other titles of a similar nature, makes this series a gem in the field of stones. The resolution isn't predictable or easy, and the peril is palpable. No one gets unscathed. Despite the liked character development, it still manages improbable. It makes you care about what these guys are going through, and go through a lot. Considering that's only been shoujo and weird comedies have really piqued my interest lately, the blast from the evolutionary throwback is concerning simply by surpassing the limits of its genre. If on the edge of your seat excitement is what you crave, but most fighting anime leave you cold, then this one is the one for you. Characters: Kujo Jotaro, Stand, Star Platinum. Cool, collected, and surprisingly supremely confident, this 17-year-old is in control of a very fast, powerful Star Platinum. In fact, Star Platinum gains more strength than the power angrier Jotaro becomes. This makes up for the distance limitation that plays his Stand. He is a quick learner and the strategy maker and is unafraid to take risks. His fearless outlook gets the group of continuously sticky situations, but he doesn't let it all go his head. Dio is extremely cautious and fearful of Star Platinum, warning his lackeys to watch out for its power. Jotaro is the son of Holly and grandchild of Joseph. Voice: Jiroda Kosugi. That's him. Iggy, the fool. Iggy is an ugly, cantankerous dog with a face only Jack Kirby could love. Aww. And has a liking for coffee, gum, and passing gas and chewing people's hair. I fucking love old Iggy's design in the anime and everything. Iggy in the in this OVA is awesome. I love stupid Iggy. This loathsome mutt. Stand is sand-based and has the ability to glide for short distances. Taken forcibly from his home in New York by the Speedwagon Corp to help out on Joestar's quest, it's not surprising that he initially dislikes everyone in the group, Polnareff especially, and doesn't want to help, especially when he overcomes this and becomes an asset to the group in their fight against Dio. How can this dub set as our backup? Mohammed Abdul, Stand, Magician Red. A former fortune teller, Abdul Stand. Wait a minute. I'm not sure. Did I just realize this? So since his name is Abdul, usually in English, did Araki purposely make Abdul's name? Did he make it sound like Paula Abdul? Really? That better not be true. That would be funny. Shout out to Abdul. A former fortune teller, Abdul Stand is the fire-based magician's red. This longtime friend of Joseph is incapable of deceit and very cautious in difficult situations. However, he is very quick to anger when his friends are threatened or in danger. This probably stems from the fact that he feels he can trust Jotaro with his life. These two also appear to share a telepathic link. Voice: Kiyoshi Kobayashi. Joseph Joestar, with an F. Stand: Hermit Purple. Joseph is 60-year-old and is command of the weakest stand of the group. Hermit Purple is a formation of thorny vines that sprout from his left hand, which he is able to locate objects telepathically. Fortunately, he also has control of the Hamon, a power which he inherited from the Jonathan Joestar, his grandfather. Hamon is an inner power chi that draws on the sun for his strength. Not really? I don't remember. I think you... Yeah. Sorry. I'm a bit wonky on my JoJo knowledge. Yeah. JoJo breathing. It was this power that nearly finished off Dio 100 years ago. Because of the long-running blood feud between Dio and the Joestar line, Joseph sees Dio as his personal nemesis, unaware of the true strength that it will face. Voice: Chikao Otsuka. Jean-Pierre Polnareff. Although the hot-headed Polnareff may act tough, he is hiding a cowardly persona that belies his stature of a warrior. Nonetheless, he is more than capable of holding his own in a pinch with his sword-wielding Stand. This hockey-haired Frenchman also tends to act without thinking, which leads him into trouble and easily fooled. However, this impulsiveness and bravado do not affect his relationship with the others whom he respects and admires. Even after getting off of the wrong foot, Polnareff and Iggy become comrades. Voice: Katsugi Mori. Kakyoin Noriaki, stand. Hierophant Green. This young Japanese was originally sent by Dio as a brainwashed assassin to kill Jotaro. Wanting revenge and want to atone for what he'd done, Kakyoin joins the Joestars in their pilgrimage to Dio's lair. He also wants to take on Dio for the humiliation and the defeat he suffered at the hands a year later. Hierophant Green can fire projectiles, Emerald Splash, Emerald Splash, and is capable of creating a barrier to ensure an opponent. Kakyoin sacrifices his life to solve the mystery of Dio's stand. Spoilers! Oh, fuck. Hirotaka Suzuki. And duel. Stand Geb. The ability to locate people and objects by their sounds and vibrations through his staff makes this blind stand user a formidable opponent. His stand, Geb, is a water-based and gains more strength with the more absorption of water. Proud and intelligent, and Duel feels a strong depth of honor Dio, who was the first person to recognize his talent. Because of his power, Duel feels no fear and is not afraid of death. Voice Koji Nakata. Daniel J. Darby. Stand Osiris. Darby's soul-stealing stand is dangerous, even though he doesn't use its power for violence. A compulsive, treacherous, and deceitful gambler, Darby is addicted to gambling, worthless thrills. It doesn't hurt to see it's easier for his stand to use his power if the soul is given up voluntarily as a stake in the game. He also has absolute control of all people in the general vicinity of where he operates. Formidable as he is, he lives in fear of Dio's might. Poker is his best game, and until now, he has never lost. Voice Itsumi Kenji. Vanilla Ice. Dio's right-hand man. Vanilla stand, the void. It's cream. It's not the void, it's called cream. How do you get it wrong? Anyways. Is an impressive power. His stand has the ability to contain a small area of matter and make it implode, as well as fold vanilla in and out of a three-dimensional space, making him a very difficult target. Very assured, he is literally willing to die for Dio and his cause. Voice Takeshi Ano. In Dio Brando. Stand the world. For almost a century, Dio has been a long time running blood feud with the Joestar family, immortal and near omnipotent due to his exposure to the stone mask, which also gives him powers and weaknesses similar to a vampire. He can raise the dead, drain blood from victims, can't survive in sunlight, and sleeps in a coffin. Dio manages to survive his early battle with Jonathan Joestar by using Jonathan's body as a replacement for his own. Thus, he requires the blood from the Joestar line to heal the body and make him more powerful. The resurrection of this arrogant and sadistic man also triggered the release of his stand, which are based on the tarot, his stand, the world. It's seemingly unbeatable, and is the object of much speculation. No one has ever seen or felt as powerful until now, after he has been attacked. Voice Nobuo Tanaka. Dio. I'll try to see what they say about the OVA. Like I said, I probably won't read all of it, since this is pretty much just a synopsis. Hold on. Manga history leaned to the OAV. I want to see what they say about this. It is the late 1800s. England. It is in the late 1800s that Jonathan Joestar, son of a rich family, meets Daniel Brando. Newly orphaned, Dio is taken in by Joestars after the untimely demise of his father, who had saved the life of Jonathan's father, Josh. Unsuspecting of this patricide, Dio schemes to take control of the Joestar family fortune, which includes an Aztec stone mask. After Dio poisons Josh, Jonathan finds enough evidence to lock up the dangerous Dio. But when Dio returns to finish the job, he puts on the stone mask and, with the spilled blood of Josh, becomes empowered by the secret of the mask, essentially becoming a vampire. Afterwards, Jonathan learns the secret of the Hamon and is using the power manages to defeat Dio. On a boat heading towards America, in their final skirmish, Jonathan's injured body and Dio's severed head go down with the sinking ships. Mangas 1 through 5. Part 2 reveals the origins of the stone mask and Joseph's body with its creators in late 1930s New York. Now, 100 years after Part 1, Joseph Joestar, the grandson of Jonathan, senses the resurrection of Dio, whose body is discovered by the ocean bottom by treasure hunters. When the ship went down, Dio somehow managed to kill Jonathan and attach his head to Jonathan's body and survive. Dio's reawakening also triggers the release of a new psychic power called stands. Stands are psychotic projections that can only be seen by other stand users. When a user's stand is injured, only possible by another stand, the user is injured as well. The stands themselves seem to be of varying strength, power, and distance in which they can be utilized. The power manifests itself in Jotaro's mother, Holly, but she is unable to cope with her new powers and is dying. Joseph and Jotaro only have a short time in which to defeat Dio once and for all and save Holly's life in the process. Some synopsises. Like I said, probably won't read all of it. Ooh, oh, look, some more websites for JoJo. We might have to look at these later. This is going to be interesting. I hope these websites are still up. At least one of these. This is going to be very interesting if we actually get to read it. Some web pages, JoJo.net, JoJo's Joe, some more JoJo's. This is going to be cool if we can find it. I'm sorry, but I'm currently watching Ray Earth, and I'm still on season 2, so I might have to skip. I'm still on season 1, so I'm probably just going to gloss through these since I don't want to spoil myself. Please understand, I really like Ray Earth. It's very cool how they link to websites about them. Even if they probably aren't around anymore, I hope they still are. Because this is like old ass internet. And that's like history. It's gonna be crazy. Let's see the next page. An amazement report. It was a dream come true for Fushigi Yugi fans in the US. They got to celebrate their favorite series with the series creator on hand. It was possible because the fans were at an amazement anime and manga convention, and Yu Watase, the woman who created the Fushigi Yugi manga, wanted to see how fans enjoyed her work. When a group of Fushigi Yugi otaku asked Watase to attend the amazement event, which was half panel, half party, the artist agreed. On the final day of the convention, held March 18th through the 21st, at the North Raleigh, a Hilton in Raleigh, North Carolina, I assume, a group of hyper-laughing teenage girls giggled as they held their own trivia game show. They danced and watched music videos of Miyaka and Tamahone sitting in the back room. Watase sat and enjoyed the teenagers' party, giggling when she saw them dance in the aisles. That showed the character of Animazement, which grew in its second year but was still right sized for some spontaneous fun. In 1999, Animazement saw its attendance nearly double, despite the competition from another science fiction convention a short drive away. Animazement didn't have as many fans in costume conventions as Katsucon, held 5 weeks earlier, but it was better organized. Nearly everything happened on time, and there was no long waits or lines. The dealer's room was loaded with Pikachus and what seemed to be a dozen styles and sizes. A host of new pocket monsters from a hot TV show sat side by side with UFO catcher dolls at dealer booths. A DVD disc took up more space. The hot items in the dealer room seemed to be Kenichi Sonata and Masamune Shiro art books at $45 US each. Wandering the halls in costume were 2 Utenas, 3 goddesses, and mostly the cast of Saber Marionette J and villains from Big Fire. Fans got to see Rei Ayanami give away samples of Pocky Snaps, voice actor Amanda Wynn Lee helping Elaine Barlow with a promotion of the Anime Online Network. They got to see Soryu Asaka Langley voice actor Tiffany Grant sing on karaoke stage. It might have been too much fun for artist Fred Perry, fan favorite, calling the convention Katsucon at Amazement opening ceremony. The convention was devoted to shoujo manga and anime, and 3 shoujo artists were brought to Raleigh as guest of honor. As with the previous year expo, Yu Watase with the starred the event. Even though a Fushigi Yugi manga is not a newer series, I thought it ran on Shonen Jump, so it's not technically a shonen, but it's very popular with women. It's one of the most popular series among female teenage and manga fans. Twice at Animazement, Watase answered questions for fans, and each time meeting rooms were filled. Fans want to know if they can learn about Watase from her favorite video games, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil, to her favorite anime when she was a girl, Galaxy Express 999, and Space Cruiser Yamato. Watase said she tries not to think too hard when she needs a story idea. If I try to concentrate on things I'll need to create, I get confused. I just sit there and the ideas pop into my head. I find out when I'm listening to music, the ideas come up. The music is classical, techno, and compositions by Yoko Kanno, she said. Animazement Shoujo's emphasis brought 2 other manga artists to the convention. Rurike Fuyuki, who had attended the 1998 convention, returned for 99 and brought artist Yukaku Midori with their fans. Fans got a close look at the shoujo styles when the 2 artists held a panel and drew sketches to demonstrate how they create characters. The drawing of their eyes is very important because they show the characters' emotional feelings, Fuyuki said. When they draw their sketches, the artists spent as much time drawing the eyes as the rest of the faces. One guest of honor never attended the convention, but he still made his presence known. Director Yasuhiro Imagawa, who has been a guest at first Animazement, had to stay in Japan because of illness and surgery. Still, he was able to phone in his Animazement panels through a speakerphone hookup. Imagawa told panel audiences how his disagreement with producers led to his dismissal from the Getter Robo series, and how he wrote his new Virgin Fleet series to be as much a story about adolescence as about war. Though, through all the celebration, one Japanese guest had a word of warning. Nobuyuki Takahashi, head of Studio Hard, said as an Amazement panel that he's worried about the future of anime. With talented storytellers and artists drawn to the video game industry, a growing pressure for anime producers to generate hit series, Takahashi is concerned about the quality of anime series will drastically decline in the next 5 years. It looks as if the industry is doing pretty well, but the problem is that investors don't care about putting something good and creative, they just want to make money. Of 100 historic anime series and productions, only 20 make a profit, according to Takahashi, and that profit comes from sale of videotapes. For more convention reviews, check Kevin Lilliard, check his webpage, fanview.com. I might have been on that website once or twice. It was very cool. Because they had like a bunch of stuff. It's a column called Anime Under Fire. I'm not sure what this is about, but we'll find out. There is nothing wrong with romance and action in themselves, but the way they're portrayed, whether one likes the overall video or not, is not completely unrealistic and certainly does not reflect mature actions or relationships. For people who have not figured this out, it can be misleading. One has to remember, however, that often in anime adolescent behavior is included as intentional behavior. This is what makes something like Riding Bean or Ranma so funny, and others like Orange Road or Mason Ikoku, which is included because adolescent or obviously immature characters are the focus of attention, specifically to show how they've grown towards maturity. With violence, for those who realize it has nothing to do with reality, it can often be a channel through which you can release pent-up and mature aspects of aggressiveness, certainly to a better place to let it loose than in real life. Now, for individual anime which turn out to be exploitative, they can certainly be a concern of everyone. No woman should have to walk around in fear of because of the climate created by media presentation of women. Violence against women, especially sexual violence, is a terrible epidemic in our society. I don't think anyone would disagree. Many feel as though the average daily paper reads like it was published in hell, and part of that awful news is rising daily tally of beaten, raped, and murdered women. This is a high priority concern. All of this in a manga, and a manga in a magazine. This is probably going to be something about, hopefully SJWs are taking manga. I mean, we're not reading it now, we haven't finished it, but I would imagine that would be interesting to say that, hey, hasn't really changed much in a while. This is either going to be biased or kind of biased, but let's get into it. Two other things, however, also concern me, though far less consequence. First is exactly what did the studios quoted by Miss Jackson show, and what valid conclusions could be reached from them. Second is the inaccurate way nudity in anime is being adequated with pornography. I like culture war stuff is what I was talking about earlier. Just kind of like culture war stuff you see on Twitter. If you note the quotations she used, we can find a foothold to a better understanding of these studies. I will not deny that there is a link between porn and violence against women. A definite trend has been shown. However, as with violence itself, it must be noted that a hard cause and effect relationship has not been shown. It is a matter of every man being exposed to porn being a potential rapist, wife beater, or serial killer. That line is good attention grabber, but it isn't accurate. One of her quotations noted the need for a steady diet of violent porn. Another notes that for adults, confusion is not a problem. We are right back to the fact that these studies are sociological and show trends, not hard cases applicable to all people. I have seen the video by James Dobson with serial killer Bundy, and both are more careful in their wording than Miss Jackson's summary would lead you to believe. Dobson goes out of her way 3 or 4 times to highlight the fact that the danger is not to all, but to some, in a known percentage who will take the next step towards the porn trail, that percentage gets smaller with each step. The thing that worries Dobson is that no one can be sure that they do not fall into the same addicted percentage until they are addicted to the path. Thus, porn exposure is a risky gamble. Even Bundy himself points out that porn did not make him, in the cognitive sense, a serial killer. He made a free choice to act on his impulses. Porn was one influence, but did not force him to do anything against his will. I'm going to assume this is about somebody named Miss Jackson. Excuse me, Miss Jackson, this is for real. Who said that anime is making people violent, or media is violent against women, and I guess this is some response kind of opinion piece about it. It's very well researched. I was thinking, like I said, this is going to be like some anime pro free speech versus anti's thing, but it seems to be very, biased and very fair, I would assume. It seems to be very well researched instead of just, no, these people are wrong. You know what I mean. Twitter fucking sucks. But this is great because this is an actual magazine. Yes, for some people, porn could be a bad problem leading to bad results in their lives, but not for everyone. Anytime someone cites a statistic, like 30% of people are affected, for example, remember that 70% were not. I'm not advocating an irresponsible free-for-all. It is certainly up to an individual to make their own anime intake is not distorting of humanity, their attitude and values, or behavior. Anime that misrepresents women, especially porn and non-pilot porn, can be a serious threat to men. Due to the visual nature of our sexuality, appropriate responsibility must be taken. A hard, honest look needs to be made to the self, with a searching inventory of the convictions of the heart, and decision rendered. In regards to the negative effect anime porn could have, nothing could be better than the individual freely deciding that is their conviction that women should not be demanded, and they do not wish to support titles which exploit women, nor do they want to carry around images of exploiting women in their mind. Now that obviously will not move someone addicted. Is there really study somewhere showing porn is addictive as drugs? Nor someone who is too selfish to care, but they are really far from majority. This is a very nice research page, I think. There's recently been discourse about Berserk and its depiction of violence, and I don't know, it's way better than just Twitter just throwing insults and ratioing each other. That's all. I'm all for questionable anime being given careful scrutiny, especially when present demeaning images of women or link sexual pleasure with pain. We need to cherish the underlying freedom we have to do so, rather than allowing blanket condemnations to rule the day. We can't discuss exploitation in general, as found in the context and interactions of the elements of each individual work, and each work would need to be examined on its own. What is exploitive in one context is not so in the other, both within anime and within its cultural interaction. Miss Jackson mentions a conference of 170 faith leaders, and they are a good example of what I am talking about. The article goes on to explain the difficulties they had in defining porn because they came from such diverse cultures, ranging from societies where people could not wear nothing but a loincloth without being considered lewd, with, sorry, one more thing. Have you always been like that? Not Lewd, but like Lude? I assume it got changed because like the internet, but was it always pronounced like that? To societies where even bearing ankles were a crossable line, where it's considered immortal, rather than taking the typical approach of trying to create a scale of nakedness on which is an uncrossable line, they realized that a dynamic, fluid definition was needed. A piece of work was considered pornographic not by the amount of skin shown, but by showing exploited and humiliated individuals in the cultural context within which it was either created or viewed. A good example of this content sensitivity is the Andromeda Distributing Company's trade term statement on adult or mature material. We at Andromeda Distributing believe it is basic liberty to read and publish erotic literature and art. And like all freedoms, this basic liberty carries with a certain measure of responsibility to the community and society in which we live. We believe that the right to print and distribute erotica is not a license to purvey that which would impair well-being of our society. In the light of this belief, we must live to our definition of eroticism, which stems from the Latin eros, the deity of love. When a sexual act or the depiction of the act is rooted in love and the act of loving, we do not believe this act or the purveyance of this act to be objectionable. When the depiction of eroticism involves compulsion, degradation, or violence, we will, at our sole discretion, choose not to carry or distribute the product. Andromeda will not guarantee delivery of products on an explicit sexual or violent nature. All such material may be subject to refusal by Canada Customs, in which Andromeda will not relist the product. Andromeda urges retailers to be aware of the regional community standards in your customer base when deciding to sell this material. 4. This is a very balanced and reasonable statement, clearly disproving that there is no concern about these issues from the same anime community. I believe it shows the type of accountability and context sensitivity needed to discuss these issues in a pluralist society. This is important because there is often nudity in anime that is not meant to be malicious or harmful. All nudity is not pornography, nor is it all demeaning. Many great arcs of works use full nudity and are not pornographic. Is nude Greco-Roman sculpture porn? Is the Venus of Milo indecent because of her bare breast? She is a statue equivalent of the most anime nudity. A brief flash of a naked upper torso, usually from a three-quarter back position, as someone who is getting dressed or slipping into water, would have the powerful Laocoon and his sons. Any sculpture or painting of the Virgin Mary offering her breast to the Christ child would have all the nude Michelangelo painted stern across the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. None who would have fuzzy little dots covering over private body parts, courtesy of Japanese editors. There's a lot of like nudity in like old anime. I remember Gundam. They were just showing their bare tits out. Like no correlation. It's very weird. But I guess it was just okay. Any sculpture or painting of the Virgin Mary offering her breast to the Christ child would have all the church even paid for that. Raphael's Galeta, Bosch's Paradise in Hell, A. Greco's Opening of the Fifth Seal, Rubens' Allegory on the Blessing of Peace, Galileo's Worship of the Holy Name. We could run down the length of history and greatly expand this list, but it isn't interesting how many of these works featuring nudity were commissioned by and are displayed in prominent churches. To listen to the most modern Christians, you would think nudity itself was somehow wrong, but conservative Christians art critics differ. Nippers, a contemporary Christian artist, paints bodies, solid, massive, unclothed, that his figure are often naked, might spark controversy for some Christians, despite his rigorous biblical orthodoxy. Nudity, however, is not necessarily pornographic. The Venus de Milo is beautiful, but hardly sexually stimulating, I wouldn't say about that. Frankie Schaeffer has shown that aesthetic nudity, as opposed to pornographic...
Probably going to end this video off with some anime trivia, the final page of this magazine. So, I'm gonna try to do my best here. I'll play along. Let's play along. Maybe you can play along here. If we can. Alright. Lots have been written on how anime started in North America, but not much is referenced on how America started. It started in Japan. Alright. Consequently, lots have been written about how anime started in North America, but there is not much reference on how America's animation started in Japan. Consequently, many fans probably don't know much about it. That's why PA has decided to challenge its readers about this subject. What do you know about the origins of Japanese animation? Test your knowledge with the following questions. What athlete became the first anime anti-hero in the 1970s? What is the first anime about soccer? Which two fairy tales were produced in 1971? Which famous burglar began his career in 1971? Okay, hold on. I would believe this is Captain Tsubasa, maybe. Lupin the Third, obviously. I'm not sure about this one. Maybe Ogon Bet. Maybe a Tatsunoko production. Two of Go Nagai's most popular, most importantly series started in 1972. Name them. I think one of them is Devilman, if I remember. And fuck it, maybe Mazinger Z. Probably Mazinger Z. What 1972 Tatsunoko production was also shown in North America? Probably Gatchaman. Name the kid manga by Fujiko Fuijo that was animated in 1973 and lasted over 800 episodes. Doraemon. Who was the first provocative heroine of anime? I wouldn't know. Maybe the bitch from Yatterman. That's the only old anime I know. That's actually a lie. Which annual soap opera produced by Tatsunoko had a frog for a main character? I'm not sure. Which 52-episode series created for Western market and set in Europe tells the story of an orphaned little girl? We heard about this before. I forgot. Wait, I don't know. I forgot. Which of two Go Nagai robot series were produced in 1974? Probably Get a Robo, and Mazinger Z. Which Tatsunoko superhero appeared in 1974, but only reached North America until recently? Probably Tekkaman. Which famous battleship first appeared, this is probably a typo, in 1974? I think Yamato, if that's what they're talking about. Name two of the robot series produced in 1975. I probably wouldn't know. Name one of the 1975 anime set in Europe. Rosa Versatalis, maybe?
Which anime tells the story of Laura Ingallis? I wouldn't know. Name 2 shows with bees as main characters. I don't know. Name 6 of the robot series produced in 1976. I wouldn't know either. Oh, fuck. Name yet another. I wouldn't know. Unlucky Orphan Girl. I think Patty the something. I don't know. Which are 3 works that Leiji Matsumoto produced in 1978? Don't know. Which 1978 series was directed by Hayao Miyazaki? I feel like I would know, but I also forgot. Which 2 1979 anime had the main character named An? Which 1979 anime is set in pre-revolution France? Versatiles? Which anime Miyazaki directed in 1979? Is it Castle the Kagili or whatever it is? Now I'm going to check the answers. History of Japan animation has its roots in the 19th century with the Theater of Shadows, but the first real anime feature was produced in 1958. Number 2, Hakujaden. 3, Toei Doga. 4, Azama Suzuka. What? Huh? Wait, wait, these are answers for the last one. I'm like, what? Osamu Tezuka is not a burglar. These are just the answers to the last one. Might be. And also, here's an ad for Perfect Blue. An ad for Perfect Blue. The Satoshi Kon movie. Roger Corman has to say, a startling and powerful film. If Alfred Hitchcock partnered with Walt Disney, they'd make a picture like this. I admit, I still haven't watched this movie, but I heard it's like one of the best, like, of all time. And here we have the end. So that was Protoculture 56. I hope you had a good one.